ho, ho.
Ho, ho, ho.
Ho, ho, ho.
Ho, 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 ho,
Merry
ho.
Christmas, everyone.
It's Christmas time.
It's not yet. Not yet. It's the Stagler time now.
It's Stagler time.
You got to get through. Yeah, listen up.
What's up, bitches?
No time for Christmas. It's Stagler time. Okay, but it is a very exciting episode. It's episode 44 of the Stagler.
OMG.
Wowza. Wowza. And, it's a Christmas episode.
It's our Christmas
It's a
episode.
yeah, sorry.
What?
Anybody who doesn't celebrate Christmas, this is not for you.
Yeah. Sorry about it.
No, like, actually, sorry. I don't.
Yeah, this episode, all about Christmas.
It's all about Christmas. It's actually all about the Santa Claus trilogy,
Which
the
is
Tim
about
Allen,
Christmas.
which is about Christmas, about Santa specifically.
Mm-hmm.
This is very exciting. I want to make sure everyone's here. Can you do like a roll call attendance?
Well, Nick, it's me. I'm here.
All right.
Marilyn, here.
Oh, she's here.
R2D2,
Wow.
Grogu,
Here. Okay.
Jaws,
Great.
Black Phillip,
Here.
Teenage Groot.
Here. They're all here.
Everybody's here. And Justin?
Present.
Oh, isn't that sweet? Isn't that sweet?
Okay, I can take this off now. I was wearing a very noisy
The wrapping.
wrapping paper around me.
But I have the Santa hat. It says Jingle All the Way on it.
Mm-hmm.
Marilyn has some candy cane
Reindeer
ears.
antlers.
Antlers.
Reindeer ears.
Fun fact,
Right.
reindeers actually hear with their antlers.
That's very cool. I thought they tasted with them like butterflies'
Oh,
feet.
it's
Maybe it's
true.
both. It's
Could
true.
be.
Those are both true. That's very cool. Anyway, guys, it is exciting. It's that time of year where we get a break after this episode is done.
Can you believe it?
Can you believe it? But we've got our weeks. You know, we got our weeks before we get all to that Tim Allen stuff. What have we been doing the past 2 weeks? We've been doing exciting stuff.
A lot of exciting stuff. I'll go first. I have two, count them, 1, 2, television shows. One.
You produced 2 television shows?
Yeah, so guys, listen. I'm the creator and lead writer and lead animator and lead creative director on Demon Slayer, the most popular anime ever of all time. Now.
The facts expressed by Nick do not express the facts that the Stagler believes in or will be held legally accountable for.
Demon Slayer came back finally. I mean, it's kind of been back for a while, but the first 7 episodes was just the Mugen Train movie again.
Weird.
I guess it's a thing that they do for their main Japanese audience.
Okay.
Is I don't know. It's what they did. So anyway, now finally we're officially into the
Do you feel
next
bad that
arc.
you went and saw the movie?
No. The
Okay.
movie was fucking awesome.
Well, I know, but if it's literally the first 7 episodes, it's just the movie again. I feel like I'd be like, oh, my money.
Yeah, but I got to see it way before the TV
That's
show
true.
came
Way before.
way before. So anyway, we're in the new arc. We're in the entertainment district arc, whatever that entails.
Nice.
And our squad, Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inosuke, are just chilling. And then dude shows up. I can't remember if it's Uzui.
Okay.
He's one of the.
I can't help you.
He's one of the Hashiras, and needs their help to go do a thing.
Hey, this is a Christmas episode, okay?
What?
I don't know. Some sort of esoteric Hebrew joke, I guess.
Okay. So then the first 2 episodes is really just kind of some giggles and stuff, and they're just kind of getting to where they need to be. Nothing's really happened yet. They've dressed up as girls to infiltrate. It's funny, they're all dressed up as girls to infiltrate these houses because they're trying to find his wives. He has 3 wives.
Nice.
They need to find them because they might be captured by a demon or something.
And they need to slay her.
Yeah, they need to slay her, the demon. But one thing I will say is, I guess Demon Slayer didn't really super explode until after the first season came out, to where it became so outrageously popular. It's the #1 selling manga ever in the history of Japan, and it's the most popular. It's literally the most popular thing ever.
I obviously don't have my pulse on stuff like that, but I do remember very early on when you were watching Demon Slayer, as far as I know, before it reached this explosion in popularity because
Yeah.
I wasn't seeing it anywhere else except for you, like right when you first saw it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So now it's like this huge thing. I mean, and this is just like for like the TV show. The animation, but the budget for this has to be insane because the animation is on the same level, if not like better than the movie,
Wow. Yeah.
which is just incredible. I mean, and there's not really any action in these first 2 episodes, just a lot of people like talking and like funny things, but it's like so crystal clear and like the backgrounds are like super heavily detailed and you can like see
Nice.
everything. Super awesome. I hope that keeps up.
Yeah. One would.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming it will because it's animated by UFO Table, which is like one of the best, and it
Best in the
has like
biz.
$1 million going
Yeah.
into it. So
Good.
Demon Slayer seems to be cool.
Very cool.
I also watched finally it came back for its final triumphant season. The Expanse is back. The best sci-fi television show ever. Sorry, Falling Skies.
Sorry.
Um,
I will say that I don't think it's the best. I think it's maybe the second best.
you literally haven't seen it.
I know, but I don't think it can be the best.
What? Are you Battlestar Galactica?
Maybe.
No, be honest. What you think Falling Skies is better?
I haven't seen the show.
So why is it number 2? What is number 1 for you?
I don't know.
So you're just talking crap about The Expanse.
It's a mystery. What do you like about The Expanse in this season? What's got you?
The Expanse rocks. So this season we're back. We got the crew back together. You're gonna watch it. You're watching the show.
Gotcha.
So I don't really want to spoil.
Well, we could do a whole show on it if you wanted.
I would literally love nothing more than that.
That'd be great.
Anyway, so I don't want to really spoil, but basically this season we got the crew. We're back. This season's only 6 episodes, which sucks.
Oh,
But it's okay because literally the writers of the book series are like the main writers on the show.
good. Yeah.
So they're like writing all the episodes. So I totally feel comfortable. The first 2 episodes have been really good.
Mm-hmm.
The pacing feels great. We're seeing a lot of like more of just the devastation from what happened in the previous season, and kind of our group kind of coming together to finally start taking the war to the big bad guy, Marco.
Marco.
And yeah, it's really interesting. Philip, Naomi's son, is going through a little interesting arc this season so far. Very interesting. I'm hoping it goes the way I want it to. Trying to be vague here.
Sure, go for it. Be vague as heck.
But obviously, everything looks amazing. The space battles in the show are just unreal.
Yeah.
They're so good. This isn't in the second episode of the season. There's like a space like chase. It's like a car chase,
Space
but
chase.
with giant spaceships.
Yeah.
And it's like so cool. They're like hitting these hard burns and like rolling, and then like the ship will like turn off its reactor and it'll stop, and then it'll like flip and then
for sure.
blast. It is just really cool, and there's a lot of really cool stuff like that. Obviously, the show is like most well praised for being like super scientifically accurate to like how like physics works and like space stuff.
Yeah.
And obviously that's still cooking. There's just a lot of really cool stuff they do with like all the space stuff, and I love the show so much. And apparently at the beginning of each episode, you know how like the beginning in Better Call Saul they do like the future Saul?
Yeah.
It's like that, but not like the future. I'm not sure what time period it is yet, but they're adapting like a novella that came out like a little bit ago called like Strange Dogs, and it's just like the beginning of each episode we get like a little bit of that. Which is like from what I know, it's like follows this little girl who's on one of the new planets,
Oh.
and like kind of like what life is like on like literally a brand new planet.
That's
and how
cool.
basically like it's cool, but some human nature will happen, right? So that's really cool. And then also I've never noticed this on like Amazon, because obviously The Expanse is on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
But like I've noticed like the thing called X-Ray before, which is like what shows
The
like,
cast
actors
and
stuff.
everything.
But now it has like you can go up and it has like bonus features for,
Oh,
like,
really?
the episodes and stuff. So like there's these little like short films now
Yeah.
that you can watch.
I can only imagine that's restricted to their original shows where they have complete full access to everything in there forever.
Right.
So I wouldn't expect to like pop on an old movie and be able to see the bonus features.
Right,
But
you're
it's
right.
still cool for their originals.
Yeah.
Even though I think before they've done it even as its own separate like, you see the movie or whatever, and then next to it you'll see the movie bonus features.
Yeah.
I've seen it done like that there too.
But it's like so in depth. So I guess each episode they're gonna release another like mini like episode. They're like 5 minutes, and it just focuses on like one character and like a cute little like thing or whatever that episode. Which it does like add more depth to the characters, and I think they're really good. But then the other thing that was really cool is you can go to like the trivia section, and like you can look through like the trivia things like you would on IMDb. But for each like trivia thing, there's like a little like timestamp for like the part in the episode, and you can just click and go right to it, like go right to like the scene. I just thought that's really cool.
Yeah, that is very cool.
So yeah, but The Expanse, there's only 4 episodes left already. I'm gonna cry, but I'm really
almost
hoping
halfway done
that they
already.
can stick the landing. I'm very, very excited. So far, no complaints.
Was there still plans? I think at one point it was like to do a movie afterwards.
I'm not sure what they're gonna do, but apparently after the 6th book, there's still books 7, 8, and 9, but apparently there's like a really big time jump between them. So the end of book 6, I guess, will be like basically a good end for the show, which makes me happy.
That is good.
So maybe they could just, if they wanted to, they could make more seasons or make movies of the next 3. But I'm assuming people love this show now. It's gotten really big since it went to Amazon.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that they notice that and they're like, you know what, we can make more Expanse stuff because it's awesome. And the cast is, I've never seen a cast and crew like so into the show that they're making. They do so many like cool, they got like YouTube shows, like the actors and stuff. And like, it's just really awesome to see like they're like really love what they're making. It's awesome. I love The Expanse.
It's very cool.
So anyway, we together collectively saw 3 films.
A few films, yep.
I don't think we really liked any of them.
I mean,
So we saw 3 movies. The first one, I guess we can talk about, House of Gucci.
oh my God, House of Gucci.
Fucking awesome movie.
Oh,
But also a terrible movie.
House of Gucci is a bad movie, but it's fun.
But it's so great.
House of Gucci. Okay, so House of Gucci is about the Gucci family.
The Gucci's.
It's about the Gucci family. Is that how they talk?
Yeah, they talk a lot of different ways.
Yeah, they do.
The accents are really everywhere.
They really do. So it's just them. It's about like a lot of things. Really, it's kind of about all of them. That's one of the things of the movie is that like ping pongs all over the place. To
Right?
the
Yeah.
different
Adam
people.
Driver plays like the main Gucci son dude.
Yeah.
Lady Gaga plays his like wife.
wife.
Jared Leto plays
The cousin or something.
Mario.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is Ridley Scott's 2nd film this year.
Right, the
Just
one that people actually saw.
Right, which is weird because the last 2 was a lot better than this movie, but
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. We're talking about this one.
So this one is based on real events. I didn't really know about it.
I don't know anything about
Right.
Gucci.
So I guess the thing most people would know going into this is that the wife assassinates the husband like through a hitman.
Right.
But like, yeah, he gets her or she gets him assassinated, and that's like the thing because he like divorces, they break up. He's like, "You're not part of the fortune," blah blah blah.
Not part of the Gucci.
She's mad. So that was news to me. So I got to be like, I mean, you see where it's going from the very beginning,
Right,
but
yeah.
Still,
But yeah, this movie just doesn't really work. It's just kind of like
on what level?
on all of the levels.
Yeah.
It just kind of like jumps around everywhere, and it doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Right, because the majority of like the first 75%, maybe 60%, whatever, to me, it's Lady Gaga. She's like the main character, right?
Yeah.
It's like it really seems like she's the focus, and then she like disappears for like the end of the movie until she comes back and she's like, "Hey, kill him." Right?
Yeah, right.
She kind of like straight up just disappears.
Yeah, a little bit.
Which was very strange to me because I was like, isn't she like the point of this movie? But it really is a House of Gucci. That's what the movie's about. It just doesn't really make that clear to me.
Yeah.
That it's about the whole family. Even though that's what it tries to do by the end. I was
Right,
like,
yeah.
oh, right. This is about everybody, not just Lady Gaga's character. Mm-hmm. Even though she's like your perspective through most of it. Because I think it starts with her working in like her dad's company. And then literally like every scene basically has her in it.
Right, yeah, for like a long time.
Yeah.
It's just strange. But there are a few things that make this film worth watching.
There are a few magical moments.
Should we talk about the greatest moment maybe of all year in cinema? Just the greatest moment?
Sure, let's do it.
Okay, so
Coming from a very unlikely source, I would say.
this is amazing. I just can't believe this actually happened. There's a part in this movie where Jared Leto is very upset.
They basically, the Adam Driver and Lady Gaga, like, shut down his fashion show because it's like, you're stealing the Gucci name. You don't have the legal rights to it. Shut it down. It's cease and desist, right?
And so he gets upset and he's like crying or whatever. And then he goes to like let out a big scream because he's so upset.
Mm-hmm.
And right when he's about to scream, as he starts screaming, they like intercut the sound
They
of
do
a
a
car horn.
Yeah, they do a, what is it, a J cut or L cut, whichever one it is. So you see him like screaming, but it's the sound of someone beeping their horn on their car. So it's like, oh man.
It is literally the funniest. We almost could not contain ourselves.
It was
in the
weird
theater.
because other people in the theater did not have that reaction.
Yeah, they weren't laughing at that.
But we were like stifling our laughter, like, oh my God.
It was so funny.
It was very, very funny. Like, I could not handle it.
I hope it was intentional.
That had to have been intentional.
There's
no way. Because that's what my kind of question with this whole movie is how much of it is intentional? How much of it is chocolate and how much of it is shit?
Right. I know the difference.
Trust me. I tasted the difference or something like that.
Yeah.
Bonkers. So it's
Very
weird
strange.
to say that the best parts seem to come from Jared Leto's crazy weirdo character.
Jared Leto just amazing in this movie.
But yeah, it's where a lot of the fun comes because when you look at all the other characters, like, is this movie like camp? That's like a question that people have. Like, is this supposed to be campy? Like, wow, look at the rich, lavish lifestyle. Like, they're kind of poking fun at it. And that you can't really put a finger on it.
Yeah.
The head father, Gucci, there is a certain point that I thought maybe he was going for it then because he was like kind of trying to accept his son again because he was mad about the marriage or whatever. And the dude just looks like a corpse. Like his eyes are like totally blacked out. And then the next scene, it's like hard cut to him in a coffin.
Yeah.
And it was just like, that's funny too. I guess the movie just wobbles. You know, it can't really stand on either side. It wants to have its dramatic moments still be really dramatic, which maybe couldn't be accomplished with that really campy kind of style it was maybe should have gone for more, leaned into. Was it entertaining?
Absolutely.
I would say, yeah. For the most part, I was entertained.
Yeah.
There was definitely a few lulls where I really did lose me.
Okay. I could see that.
I would say especially when she's first trying to convince Adam Driver to take over, I was like, okay, this is like boring because she's just like, do it. And he's like, I don't really want to. She's like, you're a puny man. And he's like, okay. It felt like that scene played like 30 times.
Yeah.
Obviously, it makes it a little bit, you side with him more when she's like, don't you love me? And he's like, no. You know?
No.
Performances? I don't think these should be award contenders.
No, but they're pretty amazing.
I gotta say, they're interesting.
Cool. They are performing. I will say that.
Okay, then I guess the question is, do you recommend people go see this?
Yes.
Yes?
You should see this movie.
I would say go see it. Well, maybe it's good if you're... Were you expecting a serious movie, like a real movie? I was.
I don't know if I was expecting it to be like super serious.
Not super serious, but a
like,
real like drama.
Yes.
And that's not what it is.
No.
So
not at all.
Maybe it's better to go in with wrong expectations. It'll catch you off guard, but I would honestly say if you're the type who like that kind of stuff interests you, go see it. But if you're like looking for like a good movie,
no, this movie's not
don't
good.
watch it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's House of Gucci. I don't think it should get any.
I don't think it will be receiving any attention come award time.
You don't think Lady Gaga will receive a?
I do not think
award. I am not a vengeful person, but I am a vengeful one. What'd she say?
She says, I don't consider myself to be particularly ethical person, but I'm fair.
But I'm fair, yeah.
And then she like thinks
with
her
the
teeth or whatever. Anyway, we saw another film.
Hold on, wait.
Oh.
One last thing to say about that movie.
Yeah.
There was a point that I did really like, which doesn't actually happen in the movie, and it's the one thing that it just kind of was serendipity that worked, because I literally saw one tweet about this movie on Twitter, of all places.
Wow.
Before the movie, and it was a shot of an interview of the real woman. It was kind of supposed to be like comparing their accents, I think, Lady Gaga and the actual woman's, And I was like, oh, she does kind of have a weird accent. That's not what I think of when I think Italian accent. But of course, I think of the racist one because isn't that where everyone's mind goes?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that actually is kind of how she sounds, like almost Russian, to me, to my ear, my non-trained ear. But the thing she was saying in that interview, which I didn't even really take note of until I saw the film, was she was giving an interview where she said, it's better to be crying in a Rolls Royce than to be happy on a bicycle. And at the very end of the film, right before Adam Driver's assassinated, he's smiling on his bicycle, like with his arms out, and then her hitman comes up and shoots him dead. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. I don't know if that's how that actually happened, like with his bike and everything, but it just like really worked for me. It was just a fun kind of serendipitous moment that I experienced.
Interesting. I like that.
Yeah, it's cool.
That was nice of you to share.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Speaking of sharing, Steven Spielberg shared his version of West Side Story with the world, and nobody saw it except for me and Justin.
Holy shit. We went to the theater, 5 other people.
We were in the XD theater too.
Biggest theater, and it's not a tiny theater.
It's very large.
Very large, like hundreds of people could sit there. Like Spider-Man sold out. We're gonna get to Spider-Man. That was sold out except for 3 seats.
Yeah, we were in the front row. There's like a couple seats in the front row that nobody was in, but other than that, completely packed.
Masks up.
Yes.
Wow. I wish they would have like mandated it, but what can you do?
Wear your mask. Be safe.
Be like Spider-Man. Wear a mask.
Be like Spider-Man.
Yeah. Anyway,
West Side Story. So here's the deal. I have never seen West Side Story, the musical, like on stage. I've never seen the old movie. I don't know anything about it. I literally knew nothing. I don't even know what happens in West Side Story.
Have you seen Romeo and Juliet?
I have.
Okay.
But you have seen West Side Story, right?
Yeah, the original racist one.
Right.
A lot of racism coming up today. I love it.
Yep, that's what we're all about.
Don't say that.
Yeah, well, yeah. So
we'll get too many followers if you say
that. I thought this movie was not good, and it's weird because most people seem to very much enjoyed this.
Before you continue, how much of that is the story?
Much of it.
Most of it. It's all of it.
Most of it. I just don't understand why the story is so famous, because at least from what you told me, it's mostly exactly the same as the other ones. There's not any really big changes.
The big thing is like the casting for one. Right. The use of Spanish in the film.
Right.
But like as far as story goes, there aren't, to my knowledge. I mean, again, I didn't rewatch West Side Story because I didn't like West Side Story when I saw it very much.
Right.
But the changes in my mind. The only thing is that I think they changed where some of the songs go. Like they put them a little sooner or put them a little later.
Okay, that's not huge.
The main one I want to say is I Feel Pretty. In this one,
I Feel Pretty.
It's after he's dead. Her brother's dead.
Yeah.
And I think in the movie I saw, it's right before. Like he's headed to the Rumble, and that's when the song plays. And then it ends, and it cuts to like the brother dying.
Rumble.
I think. I could be wrong on that. Because, of course, it was like the original production turned into the movie, and now this one. So there's like 3 different versions at least now.
Okay. So we'll get into the story in a second. But as far as the filmmaking goes, obviously Steven Spielberg is one of the greatest directors of our time.
We also sat in front row for this one.
We also sat in the front
IMAX,
row.
so huge screen.
Very intense. The way he moves the camera, like, so it seems, I haven't seen like a whole bunch of musicals, but it seems like in a lot, most of the time, they'll just have like a wide shot of like all the people like dancing or whatever. But in this one, a lot of time you're like in it.
Yeah.
You're in the people, you're moving around with all the dancers and stuff, and it's like really engaging, and all the choreography is really great.
Yeah.
And it looks awesome.
It's great because I can kind of relate it to another movie musical I saw that I didn't care for as much. I didn't even finish, actually, which was In the Heights, the Lin-Manuel Miranda one. Music, great and everything. Choreography, great, but the actual like filmmaking of it, there was a lot of stuff that I had problems with, and it bored me a lot that ways. And you saw the same thing sort of with Rocket Man, fell into similar trappings. I like Rocket Man, though, overall. A lot of like aerial shots are like a big thing, and I feel like in a lot of movie musicals, because it's like, of course, show the whole thing,
show
and whatever.
everybody.
But it also brings such, when you don't have the attention to detail that I think Spielberg probably brings to these productions,
Yeah.
it can really give it the movie set vibe, because it's like, look, group of people dancing, and then all around them, it's like you really feel the empty space around them.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, this is the set, this is the lines where they're dancing and nobody can cross it. Whereas in this film, especially like you said, a lot of times camera being down, a lot of the times literally camera lower than the actors' heads.
Right, yeah.
Looking up at them as they're dancing, really giving way to you being able to see every single motion, every single footstep. You're not just seeing arms flailing, you're not just seeing body, you're seeing the dancing, you know? Really, really effective. I was kind of like, wow, I wish he made more musicals.
Yeah, the cinematography is really amazing.
Even just the way he moves the camera, non-dancing scenes, Spielberg is just really has control of the camera's movement.
Yeah.
And the actors being blocked in scenes, like where the actors stand, where they move to. He just has that.
Yeah, he is just a master.
Second for second, cameras here, actor has to be right here.
Yep.
Cameras here, the actors have to be right here.
Yeah.
And you feel it.
Oh, yeah.
In a good way. In a good
Perfect.
way.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
it's not like, oh, this is fake. It's like, oh, this is like masterful. You
Yeah,
know?
well, I mean, it's Steven
It's Steven
Spielberg.
Spielberg.
Hello.
Even to certain points, sitting in the front row IMAX, there was a few points I had to look away from the screen.
Yeah.
Because I was like, whoa, it's like too much. Obviously, that is a consequence of front row
problem.
But I'll bring that point up a little bit later, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, so just to say, technical level, it's all great.
And really amazing.
The color and just the feeling of the city, feeling like it was a real city, feeling alive, not feeling like I was watching a bunch of actors dancing on a set. Mm-hmm. You know, I was like, oh no, they're dancing on the thing. Obviously, the little bit of effects done into the skyline and the buildings and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. I think you're talking about differences. A lot of the main differences probably felt earlier on than later on. Because you feel a little bit more presence of the Puerto Rican people in this movie. You obviously have like the destruction of the block and like the idea of the gentrification of the neighborhood and everything.
Yeah.
Is felt in this one. You have a character who was in the original but is given a lot more screen time in this one. I think his name is Anybody. It's a trans character was in the original but was listed as Tomboy, but in this one is a fully realized trans character. Still doesn't get a ton to do, but it's like acknowledged.
Right, yeah.
You know,
it's cool.
But yeah, that's like the major things off the top of my head.
Yeah, I wanted to say before we get into the whole Ansel Elgort thing, that Mike faced the person that plays Riff.
I'm telling you,
that dude is a star.
He was fantastic in this.
He is like actually amazing.
The standout to me, I know a lot of people are pointing out Rachel, the lead. If you would just scroll up, Rachel Zegler, the lead, Maria. Her, and looking back on it, especially giving her co-star, yes, she really did pull off a lot. Especially when I think of the scenes she has alone, like I Feel Pretty. Mm-hmm. And other scenes where she's being dramatic with her family and everything.
Yeah, honestly, most of the performances are pretty good, except
with
for the very large problem,
the very tall problem.
Right, Ansel Elgort is in this film,
which if you saw the trailers that I saw, you might not even realize.
Right.
There were like, I think I saw 2 trailers where he did not speak in them, which is very like telling. Like they knew what was up.
Yeah. Well, it came out after they finished filming the film.
Yeah.
That Ansel Elgort was accused of sexual assault.
Yes.
So that's just not great. I mean, it sucks.
Mm-hmm.
They can't like reshoot the whole movie.
What are they gonna
already
do?
Finished it.
Are they gonna digitally add Tig Notaro on top of his head and
right.
make it?
So just kind of a tough look in general for that. But even if that wasn't a thing,
that's the thing.
Ansel Elgort is a horrendous actor.
He's very bad, especially in this. Here's the thing: he was in Baby Driver, Edgar Wright, right?
Right.
Right, and it worked because they're like, okay, what's my motivation? You're weird and you don't speak much. Okay. Perfect. It worked. Kevin Spacey also in that movie.
Yeah, geez, Baby Driver.
Not
very
great.
telling.
He's like, he's like, yeah, he's fast, but he's weirdo. Is that good? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it worked in that movie. I don't know if I'd say he's good or great in that movie.
No.
But it worked.
It does work.
This one does not.
No,
work.
he like actively ruins the film. Like anytime he's not there and we're just like with other characters like singing, we're having a good time. I remember like many times we would see like a great scene. It was really fun. And then it would cut
to Ansel Elgort like looking out a window.
And we would both just like sigh.
Like
It was
palpable
that bad.
feeling.
He's terrible.
Because you even get like, it's like, I don't know, like 10 minutes probably around there before he even shows up. Mm-hmm. And it like really deflated me because I was like, ugh.
Yeah, because the first scene is so electric with the jets and they're all like, oh, we're
Snapping
cool.
and the fighting and everything.
And then it's like Ansel Elgort's face. And you're like, ah. And he's like, what's up?
I'm Ansel Elgort. And his accent seemed to be mostly there. There was...
No. It was terrible. It was Lady Gaga level.
You think?
Maybe worse.
I feel like mostly there was definitely a few points where it felt like it trickled out, and I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. But I don't know. Maybe that's how people talked. They just lost their accents every once in a while.
Yes.
That was me losing my accent. It's all good.
So, yeah.
The main things I would point out is that I think the leads did not have any chemistry.
No. Not at all.
Yeah, it just didn't work out, the romance. The scene, the Maria song that he's supposed to sing like to her on like the fire escape, well, kind of to her, leading to her, was so devoid of like the passion. Because that's the song that's supposed to convince you that they have fallen head over heels in love. They cannot live without each other. That's where it's supposed to like convince the viewer. It's like, yeah, these two are destined. They really did it. But you do not get that.
No.
Even a little bit.
No. There's no sense of love.
So that makes the rest of the film
very tough.
Very tough, especially where it goes right at the end. Which again, not really. It's not like it's Spielberg's fault,
right?
But like he could have changed it, right?
You could have. I didn't know this. Literally, what happens is Ansel Elgort's character Tony kills Maria's brother Bernardo. He kills him.
It happens. That makes it sound like way worse than it. I mean, it's still really bad.
At the Rumble, he didn't like murder him in cold blood.
His best friend Riff is like, "Hey, come help us fight these Puerto Ricans." And he's like, "No." Riff says, "Okay, I'm gonna fight him." Her brother kills Riff, seemingly accidentally, but not entirely. At least in this one. And then Ansel Elgort's character Tony freaks out. He kills Bernardo, her brother. He goes back. He's like, "Hey, they're gonna put me away. I have to see."
Right
you.
after that, he goes to
covered in his literally blood on his hands.
And he's like, "Hey, I killed your brother." And she's like, "It's okay. I love you." Mm-hmm. What?
It's the line specifically even makes me more mad because it's like, "I'm gonna go to prison. I did a bad thing," and she's like, You can't take away the one thing I have left after you killed my brother." And I was like, "Bro,
like literally, what are we talking about?"
Does not work.
That just made no sense to me.
At least in like Romeo and Juliet, the characters are in the story like 12 and 14. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like they're actually like little kids, but in this one they're like young adults. It's a little strange.
Yeah.
Because it makes more sense. Like, I think that's the only reason it makes sense in the original. And it feels like everybody forgets that. That it's like, no, they're literally like middle schoolers.
Right, yeah.
That's why it works.
So yeah, that just makes absolutely no sense, but it's okay because Chino, the hero of the story, kills Tony right at the end, which is awesome. And Maria's upset about it, but honestly, I don't care what Maria thinks.
Yeah, she grabs the gun and she's like, "Oh, there's enough bullets for all of you and me." She's like, "But nah." And then the cops come and they gun down the grandma.
Yep, that's what happens. Yeah, I don't know. The story just didn't work for me. Everything to do with Ansel Elgort and the story, big 2 thumbs down, terrible. Mm-hmm. Everything to do with
everyone else,
Riff and all the other people and the choreography and the cinematography and the costuming and the production design, all amazing.
Yeah, costumes, actually, I'm like, yo, that was so good. Like the dresses, especially that they wear.
It's just
like,
amazing.
And how they incorporate into the dances as well.
Yes.
Very, very cool. There's one more thing that maybe you're forgetting that I think we need to point out, is that you had a problem with the use of Spanish in this film. You had a problem.
Well, hold on. Yeah.
But you did honestly, because I'll let you explain.
Well, there's no subtitles for the Spanish in this movie.
And this
which is a choice.
It's a bold choice, and it was done because he said that he wanted Spanish to be on the same level as English in this. He didn't want one to be above the other. He wanted an equal playing ground.
Right.
Which is understandable.
Cool. That's very cool. But there's only like one scene I can think of where a person talks for a very long time.
It's the scene
Spanish.
that I sort of referenced of Maria kind of confronting her brother, like, "Hey, you can't tell me who to date," blah blah blah. Which you wouldn't even know that that's what she said,
and it seems to be like very important because they're getting kind of like emotional, and I just had no idea what they were saying.
You can guess,
Yeah, I mean, like I got it, but I don't know.
You
I just
felt like you're missing something,
right?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not like a huge.
If
problem.
you feel like it, it still matters, even if you didn't. If you feel like it, it's
Looking back now, it's like okay, whatever.
Right,
but,
which is why you didn't bring it up, I suppose.
So yeah, but that's not. And it's honestly, it's not really.
You
that
took like
huge
3
of a
years of
deal.
Spanish.
Yeah, hola. I failed.
Oh, right.
Well, I didn't fail, but I almost
Close.
Failed. I passed. D-, B.
That's just funny though, because as we know, I'm fluent in French now. It's like this is what they're saying.
Right, yeah, that's why I love seeing French movies with you because I'm always just like, hey, what's
happened?
up?
Or if there's like a French character in a film, you're like, what did they say?
Hey, what did they say?
Yeah.
And you're like, tell me. It's very nice.
Here's the thing about that choice. Putting it on an equal playing field, I get it. As a pro subtitles podcast, just put all the whole movie in Spanish subtitles. So you have Spanish subtitles when they're speaking English, English subtitles when they're speaking Spanish. Done and done.
You know what? It's true.
Like, honestly.
It's true.
Because what about Spanish only speaking people? They're not going to get the movie. English only speaking, they are. Spanish speaking only, probably not.
It's true, yeah.
So really, he failed.
Yeah, Steven Spielberg. You hear that?
I'm just saying, I'm so glad I get to call out Steven Spielberg on failing. Thank you. You can email me my check. I will print it out and cash it at my nearest
honestly,
bank.
you're not that important to cinema, okay? Just kidding. Steven Spielberg, I love you.
I'm sorry, Steven Spielberg. I know that the only reason you casted Ansel Elgort is because he looks like the war horse. Anyway, moving on. We have a Spider-Man movie to talk about.
Holy shit, guys. The new Spider-Man movie came out. Dude, you know that? Has anyone told you? Have you heard?
I have heard. I saw it.
Spider-Man, he has no way home.
Kind of true, kind of a lie.
Okay. We need to get this out of the way. Here's the problem.
People are loving it.
People love this movie. They are actually going nuts for it. And here's the problem. We're going to lose a lot of followers for this.
Yeah.
Neither of us liked this movie.
Yes, would love to make the distinction. We did not hate it. I didn't even dislike it. I just don't like it.
Right.
And that's how you feel.
Yes. Well, I don't know if I'm indifferent on it. I'm probably more on the lower side than on... I would probably be like below the middle.
Okay. Okay. I'm right. Just like whatever. Just kind of passes me by.
Okay. Obviously, we know this movie just came out. Big spoilers coming. We're going to talk about all the crazy stuff that happens. So if you don't want to hear, just skip forward to the news section.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But if you have seen it, which I'm assuming a lot of people have already, I'm assuming this movie is going to be a gigantic hit. So let's talk about it.
Okay.
What do you want to talk about first?
Well, it picks off right where the last one...
Right, where it
left.
literally the second.
Literally like backwards in time, like a minute. That's where it picks up.
Right.
They're like, hey, Peter Parker is Spider-Man. That's big. And everyone's like, oh my God, Peter Parker is Spider-Man. So he takes MJ. He swings home. They're like, we got to get out of here. And they're like, he's talking to Aunt May and Happy. And he's like, hey guys, don't worry. And they're like, see it. They're like, oh, this is a problem. Let's go stay at Happy's. They need to figure this out. How's this going to work now that his secret identity is out?
Life sucks for Peter.
This is awful.
He doesn't like being famous.
People are throwing bricks through their windows. They're like following them home. They're like threatening their family. You know, all that stuff. They're saying you're a murderer. We believe Mysterio. All this. And of course, during all this, they're like, LOL, this is so quirky.
Yeah, but speaking about the brick through the window, that happens during an important appearance.
Oh yeah, we get a surprise cameo,
which was actually really surprising. I don't think anyone really expected this.
It depends if you watched Hawkeye.
Right, yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah.
Basically, like 15 minutes into the movie,
Very early on.
Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock just
As
walks
Daredevil.
in, and it's awesome.
He's his lawyer. He's his attorney. He's like, hey, this is how it's gonna work.
And he's just in the one scene, but he catches the brick that comes through the
They're
window.
like, how did you do that?
I'm a really good lawyer.
Yeah, haha, that's a good scene.
Just awesome. We both liked Daredevil. It's very good. I'm excited to see how they bring him and hopefully the other defenders.
I don't know how excited. That's the weird thing is because like
MCU.
They could just bring in, Daredevil and be like, that all happened or that all didn't happen, but it's just the same actors. Because I guess they don't have to, but it feels like if they say that'll happen, they have to bring everybody back.
Yeah.
Be like, it all is true, and maybe they'd want to redo some of those or not. It's up to them. The only thing for me is, I guess Daredevil doesn't matter as much, but if you think of someone as like the Punisher, I think John Bernthal even had an interview like this where he said, yeah, I know they brought Daredevil back, but if they want to bring the Punisher back, they have to do it the right way. If they try to bring Punisher back and make him PG, he's going to be like, I'm not interested in that.
Right, that's the other thing, because obviously I don't think there will ever be an MCU R-rated film.
Right,
that just won't happen.
Very interesting.
So yeah, it would be interesting. How would they include Punisher? I guess they just don't.
Or, they just make him PG, and John Bernthal would maybe stand his ground. They'd be like, $12 billion. He'd be like, well.
$12 billion.
But, it's at least he came out and said that. I like that statement from him that a PG-13 Punisher would be a lot more boring to me.
Absolutely. This whole deal is
punishing. So anyway, he's there, surprise. He gets the one scene, and that's it. It's just like an announcement.
Yeah, it's like, hey, he's here now. Official.
And yes, and this one's real.
Cool. So then Peter's like, I don't like being famous. Let's go talk to Doctor Strange.
Well, first, they're trying to get into college, and he can't get into college because they got rejected because they're like, you're friends with Spider-Man. He's kind of all in the news. He's a murderer. You and your friends are all rejected from MIT.
Right.
Because they're all like, we're going to all go to MIT together, which is just like, whatever.
Really?
Like, they're really that? I don't know. Ned,
yeah.
Anyway, they all get it. It's like, oh, it's fine. It's no problem that literally no school accepts any of them. It's totally fine.
Right.
He's like, okay, I got to go to Doctor Strange to fix this. I need you to make everyone forget that I'm Peter Parker. He's like, okay, everybody will. And then he like changes it all. No, MJ. No, Aunt May. No, everybody. Blah blah blah. He's like, fine.
Right. This part bothered me.
Why?
Listen, I don't think I've ever claimed to be a super huge Marvel head person that knows everything about everything. We have our whole Marvel episode where we talk about it. But I feel like I know enough to know that Doctor Strange is quite literally like the most powerful like wizard superhero person in like the universe.
Okay.
I do not think personally that Doctor Strange fucks up a spell that bad because teenage Peter Parker is talking to him.
Well, you're thinking of it the wrong way. Because it's not him messing up the spell. It's Peter messing up the spell, sort of. Which I know is strange. Because at first it seems like it's a conscious choice he makes. And then it seems like it's Peter doing it. So it's just presented weird. But I think it's literally Peter talking is doing it. It's like if he was baking and stirring something and Peter just started like throwing chocolate chips in it, And it's supposed to be a chicken pot pie. It's like he's just messing it up.
I disagree.
Okay, that's fair. I do agree that's stupid because it seems like it's weird that there's like not a cancel button.
Right.
To be like,
the spell was too bad. I had to put it in this box because it's not good anymore. So no more spell. So it's like, okay, well, that sucks. Guess I'm still famous. So Peter then's like, okay, I'm going to go talk to the like admissions
lady, yeah,
of MIT. He gets there. He just runs up to her in like a super wrinkly suit on like the road.
The highway
as she's like driving to the airport or whatever. And he's like, yay, listen, what's up? And then
Transformers?
Optimus Prime comes in.
Oh, okay.
No, the Doc Ock shows up.
Yeah, Doc Ock shows up.
Doc.
Well, that's his name.
Yeah.
And he's like, Hello, I mean, you've seen the trailer with the bridge that they never got off of.
Yeah.
It seems weird to me that there was so little that was not off the bridge because I feel like there was plenty to show, but I guess they wanted to keep everything under wraps. So Doc Ock comes, they fight. He's like, wait, you're not Peter. Peter's nanosuit technology kind of mixes with his arms, and he's able to take control of Doc Ock's arms.
Right.
And he takes him to Doctor Strange's.
Right. He has this like new like Doctor Strange gives him like a wrist launcher that like
Zaps people and puts them in the magic
puts him in,
cage.
like the wizard dungeon.
Yeah, back in the wizard dungeon. And so he's there and he's like, hey, you're not Peter. What do you mean? I'm Spider-Man. He's like, no, my Spider-Man's different. I'm from a different dimension. Oh, okay.
Cool.
Also, Green Goblin shows up and attacks too, but he gets zipped away.
He
teleported away.
Ring portaled away by Strange.
So they're like, oh, there's a ton of these things. They had already caught Lizard Man, I think.
Yes.
They're like, I caught this one. It's a weird lizard. And he's like, wah.
Yeah. He's
like,
I'm a lizard.
gross.
I talk in English accent.
So the rest of the movie is like, hey, go collect the supervillains who got out.
Cool.
You know? It's like, okay, sweet. Goes to get Electro. He gets zapped.
Gets him.
Sandman comes. He's actually like a good guy because, of course, Flint Marko at the end of Spider-Man 3 is like better.
Right.
They get Electro. They get Sandman. They all go back to the dungeon. They're like, okay, now we kill him. And Peter's like, oh, no, you can't all die. That's bad.
Yeah. Well, so they're like, we'll send him. Doctor Strange is like, I made this thing. We press button.
Oh, well, hold
they
on.
all
I
go
guess
back.
Green Goblin also gets caught because he like turns himself in. Because he turns just Norman and he just goes to Aunt May's feast shelter and just like help. So
Yeah.
they just literally walk him there.
So Doctor Strange is like, look, I made this box. You press the button, everybody goes back to their
Respective
universe. But they're like, okay, well, if they go back to their universe, then
Spider-Man kills them.
Spider-Man will kill them.
Sort of.
So Peter's like, for some reason, just is like, okay, we can't do that.
Mm-hmm. Well, because it's like Aunt May and MJ are like, hey, well, that's
Right.
not cool.
Aunt May kind of convinces him.
That they just need help.
Which I think is dumb. I get it. He's like a stupid teenager. But like, who cares about like the other universe's super villains?
It's
He's
weird.
Like, I can fix them.
It's weird to me because literally it's just like Doctor Strange says there's millions that have died. You're going to go save all of them?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, just these. Like, he literally says, like, no, just them. I'm pretty sure he says something along those lines.
like, bro.
And I'm like, why do you care? It's like there's millions of universes where they do live.
Right. So it's just really weird. So then Doctor Strange and Spider-Man fight. That's when they fight, right?
Yeah, because he steals the box and he's like, don't do it, Peter. And he pushes him. But his Spidey sense like allows him to like kind of dodge him even though his body's not his thing, I guess. That's a neat little thing.
Right, yeah. He like does like the spectral thing on him. Yeah, but the Spidey senses, which...
Whatever. It's
okay.
fine. Yeah. I Spider sense is cool.
It is cool, but I feel like Doctor Strange could have had a workaround for that to
like
get the
just
box.
Grabbing his whole body and just being like, okay.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange does have like
Doctor Strange
moments
seems
of
to be
being
severely
dumb.
nerfed in this film.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm sure in the multiverse one that we're going to see, he's going to be doing things but like, why didn't you just do that? You're literally saying this is going to be the end of the universe and you're like not doing these things? Like,
Right.
It's strange.
So then they fight or whatever. And honestly, I'll just say now, I don't think any of the action scenes in this film like were entertaining.
I disagree. But I do want to point out the West Side Story point I brought. Because, of course, if you've seen Doctor Strange, this is the part where he's folding the city in half. There's a city in the sky and a city below, and they're coming in the middle. The train, there's like 8 of them. They're spinning in the sky, and Spidey's like swinging through them.
Crazy.
And I was thinking about the week before when I saw West Side Story, and I had to look away because I couldn't handle a couple of rocks and a carton of milk.
Right.
And then this movie where all this shit's happening, and I'm front row right where we were seeing West Side Story, and I'm just like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, no,
And it just
yes.
kind of puts you in like, it's a literal physical response that can measure actually what's going on because you see West Side Story and it's a rock in a milk carton and you have to look away. And in this movie, it's the universe changing and it's just flat. That's the thing. It's flat.
Yeah.
You know, there's no depth to it at all is the real problem if you want to get down to it. I'm not going to say it's not entertaining, but at a certain point, I was like, okay, move on to the next set piece, you know? That ends with him A cool moment I actually really appreciated. There's a bunch of asteroids. They're kind of floating in nowhere space. And he's like, this is the end, Peter. I got the box. And he's like, oh, math. And he like ties a bunch of rocks together to like spin around Doctor Strange and like tie him up because it's like geometry, that physics he was doing. And that was cool. And he even has a lame one-liner about like, you know what's cooler than magic? Math or something like that. Which is lame, but it works for Spider-Man.
I thought that was cool, but I also was thinking, I don't think that the Tom Holland Spider-Man films have done a great job at showing how smart Peter Parker is.
They have in a roundabout way, because obviously they're like, he made the suit. He hacked Tony Stark. He did the web things. But this is the one we're seeing him do it. Those ones were just told he did these things. But this one, we see him actually use his brain being opposed to be like, yeah, he did this thing off screen. Mm-hmm. So I agree with you. That's actually a fantastic point. And it's interesting just how rewarding it was in this one to actually see him put it to use. Yeah. It should have been done more.
Yeah. Because he's Peter Parker, believe it or not, really, really smart.
Really smart. Like there's a little bit like in other movies where he's using the Iron Man thing to like build stuff, but it just doesn't translate as well.
Yeah, he does a lot of smart stuff in this movie.
Yeah, he does.
Brain stuff. Not like smart decisions. Maybe his decision making might not very great, but he's science, good. Science and math, good.
Science, great.
What happens after that? He beats Doctor Strange.
He leaves him in that mirror dimension that Doctor Strange sent them to.
Right.
And he just leaves him there. He's like, that'll hold him for, until the movie needs him to come back.
Right. Oh, he then convinces all the supervillains to like
work with me, change, and you can live. Because if you're going back, you're going to die. You heard it from him. We could have killed you, but we didn't.
And they're like, okay. So they all go over to Happy's.
Yeah, they go to his apartment.
And they try to like do some stuff, but it doesn't work because Willem Dafoe becomes evil again.
Well, we should point out that they're working, and very first thing is that they do change Doc Ock.
Right, yes.
He is the only one. They changed the chip. They saw it was fried. It's like super easy. They're like, yeah, we just got to do this. He does it in like a minute. And like, bam, gets him back. He's normal. He's a good guy. He's the normal doctor again.
Yeah, it's super nice.
It's very cool. And then, they've got a device on Electro to like sap the electricity out of him to make him normal again. They, I guess, are eventually going to do something for Lizard and Sandman. They don't really talk about it in that scene, I think. Right. And then they have a serum for Norman, too. Mm-hmm. Like, this will make him uncrazy. But Norman's dark side comes out. And this scene, I guess it worked what they were doing. I actually did like this scene in retrospect.
Norman's on sabbatical.
Even though I guess I saw it coming in a weird way. I don't want to say things like that because it just makes me sound like, oh, I saw it coming predictable. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But there's a really good scene to me where his spider sense goes off. And in the scene before, Electro's kind of saying like, I sense all that power in that room with whatever he's working on, And then Doc Ock says something like, your evil side will be gone forever, never to be seen again, Norman. Isn't that great? And Norman kind of goes like, And then Sandman says something about like needing to get back with his daughter. And basically his spider sense starts going off and he's like, what's going on?
Right.
He senses something and he looks at everybody in the room because obviously there are a bunch of supervillains and he's kind of like, who is the threat here? And at the last second he zaps Norman and he's got his evil face on. He's like, well done, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Did you
Willem
really
Dafoe
think...
is awesome in this movie.
Willem Dafoe is the by far highlight. Well, I'd say him and Andrew Garfield.
I was going to say, spoilers! Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire in the movie.
We warned you.
We'll talk about them when we get to them.
Yes.
But yeah, Willem Dafoe, great.
Yeah, really, really good, especially when he's doing when he's doing Green Goblin, right?
Norman's on sabbatical.
Yeah.
I like that line. Oh, no.
It's good.
So anyway, they fight.
So yeah, he convinces all of the villains, kind of. Sandman...
Except for Doc Ock, because Doc
Ock's good now. Sandman kind of disappears, I think.
Well, yeah, because he doesn't care. He doesn't even care about... He just wants to get home. He wants to be zapped
He lives anyway.
Right. Because he's like, I literally can't die. I just want to see my daughter.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, they all fight. And this is actually the one action scene that I will say I did like.
It's the best one.
Specifically between Green Goblin and Spider-Man.
Right, that's the main
The main fight, because Lizard comes in for like a little bit because he was literally just like waiting
he was
for
in the
everything
truck.
to go bad. He's like, because he just knew. Lizard felt very inconsequential, I would say, to the overall movie.
Lizard, yeah, not really important. Same with, I feel like Sandman.
Sandman
wasn't
too.
Really,
It was like
it's more the Doc Ock, Electro,
Doc Ock for
and
the first half.
Green got right.
Electro and Green, because after this moment, Doc Ock disappears for the rest of the movie until the very end.
Right.
He like legitimately, you don't see or even hear about him.
Yeah.
No one even asks.
Right.
They're like, no one even says, "Isn't Doc Ock good now? What's happening?" Very strange.
Right.
It made me think that like I missed a scene where Electro like zapped him and like fried his thing again.
Yeah, right.
But no, that didn't happen. They just didn't have anything for him to do. So yeah, they fight. They do like some like wrestling moves on each other.
They do. It reminded me of, this is gonna be stupid, but it reminds me of like the Turn Down for What music video.
Okay.
Do you remember that where they
Yes,
like crash
I do.
through all the?
I do.
That's like what happens.
It is what it is. Like you're right. I'm just not happy.
So
about
I'm waiting for the Turn Down for What
Turn
edit
down for
of that scene.
Great news if you are a Spider-Man fan of these movies. Tom Holland actually throws punches in this movie.
Can you believe it?
Which I don't think he does in the other two films. Like not
Yeah.
nearly as much as he does in this one.
Mm-hmm.
He actually punches and tussles with Green Goblin, which is great. There's a scene where he like punches him 3 times in the face, and Norman is just like smiling, laughing as he does
like,
it.
"Ugh,
He's
this
like,
is
"Oh,
great."
geez, what the hell?" I really enjoy because Green Goblin, I guess less so now, but back in the day, Green Goblin is Spider-Man's villain.
Right. That's
You
the
got
main
Batman and the Joker, Spider-Man and the Green Goblin. That's
Yep.
their thing. Which is funny because that's kind of the thing that they base Spider-Man. All of his villains are actual like natural enemies of the spider, like vultures, scorpions, rhinos,
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
green goblins, all natural predators of the spider.
Right. The Green Goblin, a classic.
It's very, very cool. But of course, Willem Dafoe being fantastic, especially when he's doing Green Goblin, just like really solidifying. Can we say it now? The best MCU villain? Can we say that?
That's not fair because it's Thanos.
I prefer Green Goblin over Thanos.
No, that's wrong.
Really?
Thanos is awesome.
I think Green Goblin is way more entertaining than Thanos. I still think Thanos is like number 2, obviously.
In the MCU. You said MCU.
But those movies are canon in the MCU now. They're just multiverse.
Damn it.
Damn it. Yeah.
You got me. You did. You
But
just got me.
imagine, here's what I'm sad about, like for real. Imagine the Green Goblin in a Spider-Man series of films given the role of Thanos, because he's the big bad. Imagine Green Goblin, first movie, he's Norman. Second movie, maybe he transforms, struggles. Third movie, he's the antagonist. Like imagine that
would be
kind of
cool.
development for his character, and it's Willem Dafoe.
Oh, man.
Like, right? That
Yes.
would have been like magical. We're not going to get that, and that's fine. It's good what we have. But given the chance, I really think he could have
Right.
absolutely thrown it away. We should mention that they mentioned the meme in this movie. Norman says, "I'm something of a scientist myself."
Yeah. Funny moment. Funny
Yeah.
moment. One of the few funny moments. I feel like
According
a
to
lot of,
us.
Right. So, I guess we didn't think a lot of the joke. There's a couple jokes that are funny. I can't lie.
Mm-hmm.
But our theater was just cracking up at every little thing.
I think I counted a lot of laughs, like 8 cheering, hollering moments in this
Lot
movie.
of cheering.
So obviously, putting moments in a film like that, people are gonna like it.
And I enjoy that. There's a lot of people that like hate on like the cheering during movies and stuff. I like it.
I saw a video of one specific theater that was too much. They cheered from when Andrew Garfield showed up until Tobey Maguire showed up.
Okay, well
That
I
entire
get it.
scene, standing, cheering.
That I can understand. Our theater much more calm.
Yes,
Andrew
respectful.
Garfield would show up, be very excited for a little bit, screaming, yelling. Everyone would always be quiet before the dialogue
It
started.
was very nice.
Because obviously Marvel knows what they're doing. They leave time. It's kind of like leaving time for like the laugh tracks. in,
Yeah.
like a sitcom. They leave time for people to cheer.
Yeah, I
They
think
know
he
what they're
said,
doing.
"Hey," and then it was like 5 more seconds of silence.
Yeah.
And then it was like, "Who are you?"
Yeah, literally.
So
They
even
know.
you have all the way up to that to like free space to just turn
That's
it
funny.
off.
But I enjoy the cheering. It just kind of like adds to the atmosphere and like the fun of like going to see a movie.
Yeah, as long as they don't cheer for the wrong things. Which
Right.
didn't happen in this one, I don't think.
No, there was no like stupid cheering.
No, there's no stupid cheering. Anyway, where were we?
They fight. They fight in the thing. They destroy the entire building.
This apartment complex, like it's an apartment.
Right.
So they're fighting on the ground floor. Green Goblin got him. He's like beaten, bloody, bruised. He's like, hey, whatever. You're stupid. I hate you. You're dumb. I'm Green Goblin. Ha ha ha.
Here's a bomb.
Here's a bomb. And, well, he actually, Aunt May comes down. She's got the serum. She's like, I'm going to get him. She stabs him in the neck with the serum. It didn't work.
Didn't work.
And this was the point in the movie where I thought they were going to do something interesting, but they didn't. And not to say, like, they should have done this or whatever, but it's just I got tricked just for 1 second. For a second, I thought they were going to go with a storyline, and obviously what Aunt May says right after this proved me wrong.
Right.
I thought they were going to go with the storyline of some evil can't be fixed, and Norman Osborn is just evil. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Obviously, it is a mental thing. But what if they're like, yeah, this isn't something that a serum's going to get rid of. Like, he needs therapy. Things
Right.
like that. But no, it was just the serum was wrong. They just needed a better one.
Yeah.
So he gets the glider, he autopilots it and stabs Aunt May, blows up the place, and Spider-Man goes to Aunt May and he's like, oh, are you okay? And she's like, yeah, I'm fine. Then she dies.
Yeah.
But she says, Peter, with great power comes great responsibility.
Right.
Blech, she
Classic.
dies. Here's the thing. I didn't feel anything.
No.
During
yeah,
the
it was a
scene.
problem.
It's Marisa Tomei, I believe. She's hot, love her. She's great in the movie. She's fun. She's charming.
Yeah.
She's likable. Didn't feel a goddamn thing.
I wasn't feeling it either. Even though Tom Holland was pretty
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Pretty good
I
in
would
the whole
say.
movie, but in this scene, he was pretty good. But I don't know. It just wasn't. I don't know what it was. It just wasn't working for me.
I can't help, though, but think of the Iron Man scene watching it, though, and, like, putting them side by side. And be
What
like,
the? I don't want to go.
No, you're dying. You're Iron Man. Oh, no.
Oh.
And putting them side by side and be like, who is he more sad about?
Definitely Iron Man. Sorry about it.
I know, but this scene was longer, I would say.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But he was sadder about Iron Man. So that already was like, oh, Peter, come on.
right, but Iron Man was like dad.
Literally his mother, figuratively.
Literally his mother, figuratively.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, but
And do I need to point out that they only knew each other for like 6 months?
that's true.
Because then it's blip and then comes back and he dies. And he's like,
Right.
I just love pointing that out to people. It's like they didn't know each other that long, even if they spent every day, even though for half that time we know he was out of the country. And then out of, like, in space for a little bit.
He did go to space.
I don't know. Anyway, that's not that important. We're not really here to talk about Iron Man, which is actually something I would say in this movie. Only like one Iron Man reference. Great. He does have the
Awesome.
Iron Man suit, obviously, still. But, only one reference to Iron Man. So I feel like maybe people who are upset about like Iron Man Jr., maybe this really helps alleviate that.
Yeah.
I would say, anyway, okay, get back to Aunt May.
She's dead now.
Didn't feel anything. The reason why, to me, is Aunt May never did anything for Peter. Aunt May never did anything for Spider-Man. Obviously, she clothed, fed him, whatever. But in this movie, I think they realized, hey, she hasn't really given him advice or like told him how to do anything. We need to like do that.
Right before we kill her.
So like Uncle Ben, it's similar. It's not long before his death, but Uncle Ben in the Raimi original,
Right.
he says, hey, with great power comes responsibility. He says, hey, I know I'm not your father. And Tobey Maguire's like, then stop trying to be. He leaves, whatever. He gets shot. And then he's like, Uncle Ben, I'm sorry. Very sad, right?
Right.
But in this one, she's saying it as she's dying.
Yeah.
So it really doesn't give the viewer, to me, the emotional hit that it should. Because I'm thinking about the Spider-Man PS4, PS5 Insomniac game,
Yeah.
which, spoilers, has the death of Aunt May as well.
Now it's crying.
And that wrecked me. And even when I think of that, she didn't do a lot for Spider-Man or Peter in that one, really. And it just worked in that one. And yeah, of course, you get more time in a video game. It's a lot
Right. It's a
longer
different
than a
type
movie.
of story.
But it's still like that it can be done, that it's not Aunt May's like a broken character. Like,
Right.
no, it's just they made a mistake in my eyes.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's that she only says a speech seconds before her death.
Yeah. Very, very soon.
And of course, I did have a little bit of like, they're not going to bring her back, right? I, of course, had to be like, there's no way. And then as the scene went on, I was like, no, they're not bringing her back. So then the police fire into the apartment building, the public, living space.
Right. They shoot Peter.
They shoot Peter. It doesn't matter. It was never brought up. But again, he's a superhero. He heals. But I did think it was going to be like a thing like my swinging arm or something.
Right. Yeah.
Because it is still like a bullet from an assault rifle being shot into you. But
Right.
he's Spider-Man.
It's true.
After that is a couple minutes of him being like sad. And this is the part of the movie where it's very cynical, but I was like keeping track of the time. And it was like 2.5 minutes until the next joke. But it was only like a minute and a couple seconds till the next time a person laughed. I don't think there was a joke, but somebody laughed. Just something I thought I'd throw out there.
That's just interesting.
That's just interesting facts. It's data.
They just move along quickly.
They do. They have to. It's already 2.5 hours.
Right. What happens after that?
It's Ned and MJ in the apartment, and they're like, "We need to find Peter. He's in trouble." They see it on the news.
Yeah, this is the part.
And so Ned has stolen Bling Ring. Bling Ring?
Sling
Ring.
Sling Ring.
Not a
That's
Sophia Coppola film with Emma
the
Watson.
Sling Ring.
They need Hermione. She could have helped. Thinking a Bling Ring.
That's true.
Anyway, he's got the Sling Ring. He's magic. He can use magic.
So he tries to portal.
How do you feel about that? Just
I feel. I don't know. I mean, it's like it's funny, but it's like, I mean, I don't think they ever really go into like how the Sling Ring works. Maybe in the Doctor Strange movie, but
no, doubt it. But it's obvious that he has some propensity that normal people don't have.
yeah, maybe he's like a little special or whatever when it comes to that. But he can portal it up. He's not great at it, but he can do it.
he's actually
So they're
really
like,
bad
just
at
think
it.
about Peter and do it. So he's like, okay,
Find Peter.
and he makes a portal. OMG, there's a Spider-Man there.
Oh,
in an
look,
alley.
it's Peter. And he goes, I'm Peter, takes off his thing.
It's Andrew Garfield.
And they're
The
like,
theater went crazy.
absolutely nuts for this. And I wonder,
And it was pretty cool.
I guess it makes sense that they did Andrew Garfield first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he's got to be, because people love Andrew Garfield. Me included.
But do they love the movies as much as they did the Sam Raimi movies?
No, I don't think anyone thinks his movies are better, but people just love Andrew Garfield.
The person. Yeah.
The human being.
Yeah. Or at least the actor. So yeah, they're like, are you Spider-Man? He like, there's a funny little scene where he like puts his hand, sticks to the ceiling, and they're like, that's not good enough. He's like, how?
Yeah, he's like, what? And she's like, crawl around. Get the cobweb in the corner.
And again, Andrew Garfield scene, it's a good scene.
Andrew Garfield's so good.
They do it again, and then Tobey Maguire shows up.
He just like steps out in like a normal
Casual
clothes,
jacket, yeah.
looking like a dad.
And they're like, you're Spider-Man? He's like, I try not to tell people that, but yeah. He's like, obviously something's wrong. Let's figure it out. And this is the part of the movie that it gets interesting when you think about like the grand scheme of things, because Andrew Garfield, it appears maybe this is happening in real time. Like, it's only been so many years since whenever Amazing Spider-Man 2 came out that Andrew Garfield's now here.
Yeah.
And it's only been so many years that Tobey Maguire's last movie came out. Like, that's actually how much time has passed. That's
Right.
what we're seeing. That's the idea that I got from it.
That's definitely what it seems like.
And it also implies that Tobey Maguire's adventures never got too crazy. Like, basically, Spider-Man 3 was, like, the biggest his adventures ever got. You get the feeling. Maybe it's not true.
Yeah.
And same with Andrew Garfield. It seems like nothing crazy really happened. He fought the Rhino.
Right, which we know.
Which we know, yeah. But they do add a little bit more to his character. They all go. They're like, we need to find Peter. Is there any place he would go? Toby says, for me, it was the Chrysler Building. Andrew Garfield's like, it's Empire State Building.
Better view.
Better view. He's like, yeah, you're right there. They go, it's like, oh yeah, it's the top of the school or something.
Yeah, Zendaya's like, I know, because that's where they hang out all the time.
All the time. So he goes there, they're there, he's like, hey, meet these people. And they bring up a thing with Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. Tobey Maguire's like, hey, I know that you want revenge. Like, I know Green Goblin, right?
Yeah.
I did get my revenge. I killed the person who killed Uncle Ben. Wasn't worth it. Messed me up. Andrew Garfield is like, hey, I lost someone really special to me. I lost, Gwen Stacy. Even though Tom Holland's like, don't and he doesn't explain because he's like, you don't know what I went through, even though it seems like he pretty much does.
Right. Yeah. Definitely.
And by this point, I'm pretty sure Aunt May for Toby would be dead too, but just like of natural causes.
Right. Yeah.
Wait, do they bury Aunt May? I don't remember, honestly. In the third movie.
This film?
No, in the third movie. In this movie, they do off screen.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But in the third movie, I don't remember if they do. I feel like I remember, so probably not.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong. And so they have that scene where it's the three of them like having that little powwow, and it's a nice little scene. But it adds a little bit to Andrew's actual character of Peter Parker, because
that's the thing.
He says, "Yeah, he like mostly has gotten over it now," but he's like, "Yeah, after Amazing Spider-Man 2, wait to say that, but
right,
he's like, after Gwen died, I got bitter and hateful, and I stopped pulling my punches, and I took people out, like not killed them, but he's like, I really went for it." And it was like really rough for him.
Yeah, and this is the thing. So, I feel like I enjoy the Amazing Spider-Man movies more than most people, and I really love Andrew Garfield, and he's great in the movie, and what they do with his character is really good. But I feel like them doing something really good for the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man comes at the cost of like the film itself, and how like this is a movie about Tom Holland Spider-Man, but he almost gets like put to the side, it feels like, because Andrew Garfield like literally totally steals the movie. He has like the most emotional part, which we'll talk about later.
But that's us. That's because that's you. I don't think most people would agree with that. Just like most people wouldn't agree that the Amazing Spider-Man movies are like good. I don't think people would agree with he has the most emotional part. People would be like, "Oh no, Peter, when Aunt May dies."
No, disagree.
No way.
Hard disagree.
People are like, Aunt May dying is sadder than Andrew saving MJ.
Okay. Well, it's not. That's him saving MJ is not like sad. That's like a sweet moment. That
wait,
like,
what are you saying then?
Emotional. Emotional doesn't mean sad.
What's
like
Andrew Garfield's point that is more emotional than Tom Holland? And
when he saves MJ.
That's what I just said.
Yeah, but you said it was sad. I'm saying it's not sad.
Okay.
It's a sweet moment.
Okay. I don't know if people would agree with you, because I heard sobbing in our theater with Aunt May. Nobody even cheered at the MJ moment.
What are you talking about? Do you remember?
They didn't. They cheered, but they didn't. Not nearly as much for every. It was like
because after it happens, it keeps
That's
going.
Honestly one of my problems, because it's good that when he saved her, they didn't like have a 40-minute conversation. But I did feel a little upset that they didn't make that sequence a little bit longer, because it was just very quick. He was like, "No," and then saved her, and then she was like saved. I almost wish it was not a shot-for-shot recreation of it, but a little bit more time given to, like, this is his redemption, because it is literally ending his arc.
Yeah, and it's just sweet. And Andrew Garfield just, he starts crying, and it's just like, oh, man.
And he's like, "No, I'm okay." Like, and he gets back in the battle, and he's like, "Yeah." I mean, I heard people even complain about that, and I was like, it's short. Like, don't worry about it. Well, because they're like, it's too long. Like, people are about to die.
Shut up.
Yeah, no,
this is fine. Andrew Garfield.
It's Andrew Garfield time. But that's not even what happens next, because
right, that we were just talking about that because we were talking about Andrew Garfield.
Next, they're like, "Hey, we have to cure him. Let's go to the lab. We're all super smart."
Smart.
Andrew Garfield's like, "I already cured the lizard. I can do it again, no problem."
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire says he's gonna handle. I don't remember who he.
Something else.
Norman. He handles Norman. He's like, "I've been thinking about Norman a long time, especially after him and his son died. I'll do Norman." So it's like, you just got to do like Sandman, I guess, or whatever. They all get
Electro.
their little.
Somehow they do Electro.
Somehow, well, they don't, but yeah.
Right.
So they all do it. It's a real quick scene. They have a lot of fun little banter of like talking about the other Spider-Man. This is like the most chill part of the movie, really.
Yeah.
The things they mentioned, I'm glad they mentioned his organic web part of it, because that's something that's just like, is that going to come up?
Right.
They're like, "Yeah, you guys don't have organic web."
They're like, "No,
what?
We have to like make webs and stuff."
Which I thought going into it was going to be like a more significant point. Like their web shooters were going to get destroyed, and he would like do something, and it'd be like Toby's moment.
Yeah.
But no, it's whatever.
That would have been cool.
But yeah, it's cool, but it doesn't matter. Like, I'm not mad. When I point out things like that, I'm afraid people are going to be like, "You don't like the movie because the thing you want to happen didn't happen." It's like, no, I'm just saying.
Right. It would have been cool,
These are
if
cool
that
ideas.
happened.
It's fun to think about it beforehand. So they do all that. Let's get together. Let's do it. Hey, Peter. They all look over.
Right.
We got to go. We got to go lure him out. So he calls Jonah. He's like, "Hey, it's me, Spider-Man. Bad guys, I have the box. I could have killed you at any second, but I didn't. Let's talk." They go to the Statue of Liberty 2.
Right, which is now like Captain America. I mean, it's still Statue of Liberty, but it's holding
instead of the torch, it has the shield.
The shield,
which is fine,
cool, I guess. We like Captain America.
Yeah, Captain America's cool, I guess. So they go there. All the bad guys show up.
They have big fight.
They all fight.
They suck.
And Tom Holland's like, guys, what's going on? They're like, I've never worked a part of a team. Tom Holland's like, oh, I have. Good use of that. I'm like, oh,
he's
yeah,
like, I was part of the
totally has.
Avengers, and they're like, what?
Great. What is that? It's like, yeah,
that was a little funny.
Which is interesting because, like I said, it just implies that their adventures never got really bigger in those universes, even though we know that at least Stephen Strange is a person in the original Maguire films.
Why?
Because when Doc Ock comes out in Spider-Man 2, Jameson is like, what do we call him? Dr. Weirdo. Doctor Strange. And he's like, it's taken. Damn it. Well, how about Doc Ock?
Oh, okay.
So we know that Stephen Strange, the Doctor, probably the hero, because I don't know why a single doctor named Doctor Strange would be like, oh, it's taken. Like, come on.
Yeah.
So we know that exists. But again, were they really thinking about that? I'm just being fun now.
So anyway, then they're like, okay, well, let's be smart and group up. So then they have a cool little team up moment, and they start winning.
Yeah, it's cool. They have a short talk about. It was weird. I was wondering if it was meta because Andrew has like a self-conscious moment where he's like, "I'm lame," and then they're like, "You're not lame. You're amazing." And I wonder if that was supposed to be them like being like, "Your movies weren't bad." I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I wasn't.
It is
sure.
weird though.
It is definitely weird.
But yeah, they group up. They fight. They win. Andrew Garfield saves Zendaya in this part.
Yeah, he saves Zendaya, and it's great. It's very emotional. It ends his character. Tobey Maguire doesn't really have an arc in this movie. He just kind of shows up, does his thing.
Yeah, his his big moment would be like the end.
But it really still feels inconsequential. We'll get to that.
Doctor
So
Strange.
Electro, they get everybody. Electro, or do you want to do Doctor Strange first? I don't know how it really happens. I think it happens like basically one after the other.
Yeah, just do the Electro thing.
Electro, they're like, oh, we got them all except Electro. Let's fight him. What do we do? Electro gets him, and Doc Ock comes him, and he's like, leave him to me. And then he just like grabs Electro and like crushes his little thingy because his claws are immune to electricity.
Yeah.
And it's like, Electro is solved.
Cool.
It's like, okay, thanks Doc Ock, just coming back to
doing that.
solve the problem. And that part really got to me because I was like, he just appeared. It did. Like, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't let it get to me so bad.
Yeah.
But I was just like, really? He doesn't get to do anything, and then he just saves the day?
I know what you mean. So Doctor Strange comes back finally from
finally out of the thing because Ned, I think, accidentally sends a portal to him.
Right. But the like the fabric of reality is breaking because of like the spell or whatever.
Well, no, it's because we saved the day. Except where's Green Goblin? He shows up, throws a bomb at him, he blows up the box, so the spell is free.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you for reminding me.
Yes.
See, I'm already forgetting. Yeah. The spell's going crazy, and the sky's like cracking open. It looks
ripping
cool.
open. You see silhouettes of like these characters.
Like all the villains. Obviously, you can see Rhino very easily. I've heard other people say that Kraven is there.
I saw Kraven. I think Scorpion maybe too.
Like a whole bunch of people. I'm sure there's a ton of Easter eggs in that part that people will dissect. Whatever.
Because it's everybody who knew Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
In every universe coming.
So it's millions, billions, trillions, uncountable.
Probably infinite.
Yeah.
And Doctor Strange can't really stop it.
Yeah, he's trying like, oh, this is tough. I don't know. Alone. Like, I don't know if I can do this.
Right.
Again, it's another thing where it's like, where's Wong? This is like a big deal.
Yeah, Wong, what are you doing, bro? By the way, another thing, Wong is the Sorcerer Supreme now.
Right. So I guess technically maybe he is even stronger than Doctor Strange, but I don't know how that works.
Because Doctor Strange got
blipped,
snapped.
so
blip,
yeah.
Right? It's the blip now.
Yeah.
He got blipped, so he just kind of took it up just because Doctor Strange wasn't there. But yeah, and then how did they get it closed? I don't even remember.
They get it closed because that's a great question. I think he just has to like.
Does he just get it eventually?
Well, I think he closes a little bit, and he's like, it's not going to hold, and he basically has to cast another one that makes everyone forget Peter Parker.
Right, and then Peter Parker's
everyone.
Like, yeah, he's like, yeah, you know what, you got to do it because if we don't do this, it's going to do it. And he's like, yeah, but everybody that no one will remember that you even exist. And he's like, that's okay.
Yeah, and then Green Goblin's there. He shows up, and they're like, okay, I got to take care of this. You work on the spell and everything. I got to take care of Green Goblin. They're fighting.
They fight on the shield.
On the shield, like
because it fell
half
down.
in the water and like
it's kind of cool little area.
It's kind of cool setting. It's like a fighting game stage.
Yeah,
but the fight is awful.
It's not good.
The editing is just erratic, and like I didn't understand what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
Very,
Hard
very
agree.
bad. Like
Hard agree.
worse than it really should have been. Like I don't know why. Maybe something just really looked off when they showed it all, and they're like, we can't show this.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it turned out bad.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think people, just because the emotions of it, because Tom Holland's like basically out to kill at this point.
Yeah.
Well, literally out to kill. That people just got too worked up and didn't like notice. But man, it was like not engaging.
I agree.
And maybe like what is it? Quantum of Solace.
Eek.
James Bond 007. It's supposed to be he's angry, he's rage, he's erratic, he's not thinking. So it's like cut, because that's all he's thinking is punch, punch, punch. And like yes, but I think that's stupid.
Like, have you seen John Wick? He's like that. But...
Form over function, and it's like, give me more of the function, please.
Yeah. But anyway, it leads up to Peter Parker kind of
he grabs the
gets
glider.
and grabs the gun. He's
gonna
about to
stab
stab
to
him
death.
right in the face with it. But then Tobey Maguire shows up, catches it. And
Just
he's
like kind of in the original where he was holding the one from Green Goblin.
Yeah.
He's holding it back, but he's holding it from
and he
Tom
doesn't even
Holland.
say anything. He just looks at him. And then
Yeah.
Tom Holland is like, you know what? You're right. And then Tobey Maguire gets stabbed through the stomach by Green Goblin. I was like, holy shit, he's going to die.
Seriously. I was like, oh my God, they're doing this? I mean, who cares? The movie's like, it's not like
Right, it doesn't matter.
They're not making Spider-Man 4.
But I was like, that's crazy.
I was like, whoa, but he's like, fine.
But then he's fine. He's like, yeah, I've been stabbed before. It hurts.
Yeah,
but I'm
so
okay.
Andrew Garfield like throws the good serum that they made. Tom catches it, stabs him, he's healed. And then they're like, oh my God, Peter, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah.
It hurts, but yeah, I'm good.
Then he goes and like he's like the spell it's about to go off. You only have a little bit of time before everybody's gone. So he talks to his 2 Spider-Man friends.
They're like,
he's
thanks
like, you guys
for
are
helping
cool.
me.
See ya.
Bye.
They're like, cool.
Mm-hmm.
He leaves. He goes, has an emotional talk with MJ and Ned about how they're gonna forget him. And MJ's like, you need to find me and make me remember.
This is another point that I want to bring up about the Ned character / actor. In the emotional scenes, like the Aunt May scene and this scene, they cut to him at the beginning to get his lines out, and then they never cut back to him, even in a wide shot. They never cut back to him, and it just makes me assume that, I mean, I know this is a shitty thing to say, but it just makes me assume that the guy can't act serious scenes. He's funny, kind of.
Yeah.
I didn't think he was this funny in this movie. I didn't think he was that funny in Far From Home. I don't even remember him in the first one, so Ned doesn't really do it for me. Maybe Cross Spider-Verse could fix Ned if he's in that movie. But it was just hilarious to me how he would get one line out right at the beginning of each scene,
Right.
and then they wouldn't even cut to him. Like, not even show him sniffling or, nothing.
Yeah.
It was just close up on MJ and Peter, and they kiss, and she's like, come find me, make me remember.
Yeah, and he's like, okay. Then boom, the spell goes off. Everybody gets teleported back.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's cool, except that nobody.
Well, they don't really get teleported back, do they?
They kind of like fade out of existence.
It's weird because it's the spell is confusing. Because I guess you assume that every record of him ever is, but like reality hasn't changed. It's not like he was never born and this is how life would have turned out.
Mm-hmm.
It's everything exactly the same except just nobody knows, which is just strange because she still has the cut on her head, which means she still went to that battle and had the big fight. Because people, I guess, just when it was Peter Parker, it just changed just to Spider-Man instead. Because people still remember Spider-Man, they just don't remember Peter. But it's just weird because it's like, what about all the shrines and posters everywhere saying Peter Parker is Spider-Man and all that?
Right.
It's just like, I guess
Not
those
sure how that
evaporated.
works.
That's fine. Whatever. It's magic.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Okay. Got it.
He goes to like the shop where in this movie it's established that they hang out because Mary Jane works there and they just come visit her. He sees her and Ned. They got into MIT, I guess, I think, or they're gonna find out.
Right. Yeah.
He goes
They're
in,
happy.
orders a coffee.
Yeah. Well, he's gonna do the thing.
Do a
He's
big
like
speech.
reciting. He's like,
Mary Jane, do you remember? Like I
not
I
Mary
love
Jane.
you.
It's
Yeah,
MJ.
Michelle Jones, right? MJ. And so he says all that, but then he sees her, sees that they're happy, sees that they're safe.
Yeah.
She's got a Band-Aid on her head, and he's like, what happened? And she's like, don't worry, it doesn't hurt anymore. And then he goes, it doesn't hurt anymore. And then he's like, I can't tell her. And then he's like, goodbye.
Yep. And then he leaves. He doesn't tell him. And then he goes to Aunt May's grave, and he sees Happy, and Happy's like, how'd you know her? And he's like, through Spider-Man.
Me too.
And he's like, me too. And then they just leave.
Yeah, and then it's... Yeah, just to make this clear, like, it's everyone, including Doctor Strange, which is the number one thing that I would be interested in, like, how does he rationalize that?
Yeah.
Like, Spider-Man told me to forget somebody, or, like... Because that would make me like, oh, that means whoever Spider-Man is, I knew him. Whatever. Just an interesting thing there that it's literally everyone. What if Peter forgot who he was?
He's like, who am I?
And then who am I? And he looks in the thing, and he looks in the thing, and maybe he sees Uncle Ben's suitcase, and he's like, Ben, that's a good name. And he changes his name to Ben Riley.
Good job. I'm proud of you.
I wish that would have happened. He's like, I don't know who I am.
Ben Riley.
That's my new name. I just made it up. And then he becomes Ben. Oh, man. Because how did he afford the apartment? And how did he afford to make the new suit?
I don't know.
He wouldn't have the bank account. Nobody knows who he is.
But we already said that we were just going to forget that. It's magic.
You're right.
Anyway, so yeah, he's got an apartment now and he does Spider-Man stuff. The movie ends.
Yeah, and he's got a new homemade suit, so he got rid of the Iron Man suit. Which again, like, people like, but it's also a very stupid decision. So you can't have it both ways to me. To me, it's like, no, that's stupid. People are going to die because he doesn't have the robot arms. Like, what? Everybody would have died if he didn't have Iron Man's suit in this one. Because he would have just died right at the beginning.
Yeah, it is true.
So it's a very stupid decision for Peter to make, but I get it thematically.
Yeah. Movie ends, and then the worst thing ever happens in the after credit scene.
Worst thing ever. This is maybe one of the, honestly, I should be fair with the movie, because this, like, literally hurt me.
This was, I was, like, really upset when this happened. So, after credit scene, it's Eddie Brock. He's chilling, he's talking to a dude. He's just, like, eating or, like, whatever.
He's like, so, Spider-Man and whatever, like, they're fighting, and I need to go talk to him. It's like, Thanos destroyed the world, and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, yeah. It's okay. He's like, okay. I guess I need to go find Spider-Man now and talk to him.
Uh-oh.
What's going on?
He's being freaking, whatever, like, Doctor Strange spelled back to his universe. So he just gets put back.
It was for nothing.
Oh, but what's left behind?
Oh, a little bit of symbiote.
Which makes no sense.
Makes no sense.
How did it, like, miss? How did it, like, fall off him? Doesn't it?
Well, it doesn't matter if it fell off because it's the spell.
Like,
that's the thing where it's like, it's magic, but in this, it's like, but the magic missed.
Yeah, like,
but it's supposed to be like, you're supposed to accept everything else.
So that just, it's so dumb because the end of Venom was so hype when they're like, OMG, Venom in the MCU. And then in this movie, they're like, yeah, not just kidding. It was just
he didn't even get to be in this movie as like a quick show up. Tobey Maguire goes, what the fuck? You know, and then whatever. There's just nothing. The symbiote's there. It's just their way of introducing the symbiote into this universe, which is lame.
Yeah, I thought it was stupid.
There's way other cooler ways to introduce the symbiote, like through J. Jonah's son, I think they did once, because his son's like an astronaut, and like it's him who brought it home.
Yeah. So it's just, I don't even know. That was so dumb.
It literally felt like a middle finger to everybody who liked Venom.
And I liked Venom, and so did Paul Thomas Anderson, so fuck you guys.
Yeah, I hope Paul Thomas Anderson comes in, and it is like, Spider-Man No Way Home fucking sucks.
I was so mad that they ruined Venom.
Where's Venom?
Yeah, Kevin Feige, fuck you for that.
And it makes me wonder, like, they're doing the symbiote. What does that mean without Venom? Are they doing it without Venom? Are they making a new Venom? Is the Venom that this symbiote is going to be the Venom we know?
Probably not.
Like that Venom.
Yes.
Or is it just going to be their own thing? Obviously, it's going to get on somebody. I'd be happiest, you know what, if Spider-Man just never got it. Then all those people who were
What if it got on MJ?
What if it got on
and he had to fight
Daredevil?
MJ? Is that a thing? Does that ever happen in like the comics?
I don't think so, maybe. Probably. It's probably been on everybody. But Daredevil gets in. He's like, this is sweet. Now I can swing.
That would be cool. That would be cool. Anyway, that sucked. And then the after credit scene is just a trailer for Doctor Strange.
Multiverse of Madness. And
which looked okay.
There's Doctor Supreme or whatever is the evil Doctor Strange. And he's
Shadow Strange.
Yeah, literally. It's just evil
yeah,
Doctor
and
Strange.
it looked cool. I guess
It's fine.
I don't
Wanda's
know.
in it.
Wanda. Yay.
It's still so funny though, because I think even on the show, in an early episode, when I finished WandaVision, I was like, I can't wait for Multiverse of Madness, where Strange confronts her and goes, "Don't worry about it. What you did in whatever the town was."
that happens
And
in
it's
the
literally
trailer.
in the trailer. She's like, "I know I did wrong things." He's like, "I don't care. There's other things. Who cares about a few, like 100 people? Like what? Who cares?"
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yep, there it was. That was our in-depth
Recap review.
review of Spider-Man No Way Home.
So this is probably comes off because I did tweet about it very, very minimally right after I saw it, and I put a positive spin on it that I'm glad people liked it, and I am.
I'm always glad people like things.
But it's just, I can't lie when I say that it just didn't make me feel the emotions it wanted me to feel.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't find it very funny. I didn't find it very sad. The best moments were the moments that were established by other movies.
Yep.
You
Exactly,
know?
which is just like,
Cheating.
yeah.
So it's just I'm envious of others who can feel these things.
Yeah, I'm like, what I don't get, I'm about to do something.
Okay.
All these people love the Marvel movies so much,
Yeah.
but they hate, at least a lot of them, they hate Fast and Furious. They think it's stupid.
They really do.
Yeah.
That's
And it's like, fuck you, because Fast and Furious is awesome.
Yeah.
I love Fast and
I do
Furious.
too.
You know that. And I just don't understand.
Dominic Toretto.
Literally. And I just don't understand how they can be all hype for these Marvel movies, but then think that the Fast and Furious movies suck.
Are lame and dumb and whatever.
Like, what?
Yeah, it's very strange.
And at least me, I know I'm a little biased, but I'm not really, because I've seen all of both of them, and I just like Fast and Furious a lot more. Fast and Furious has a lot more heart.
And it's weird because Spider-Man is even an established character who has a lot more stuff.
Right.
But still Fast and Furious accomplishes it better.
Right. Like, I cry watching Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
Like, I'm more connected to the characters than in Spider-Man.
I think maybe one of the things, something I have to point out about this movie is that the crosstalk, like Whedon speak, is absolutely infesting this movie.
Oh, yeah.
I can't tell you how many times they were like, Ned does magic now? He does magic now. What does he do? He makes portals. He makes portals? Yeah.
He makes portals.
And it's like, it's a lot. Like, it happens a lot.
Yeah.
That's like Flash's whole character in this movie is like crosstalk. You know Spider-Man? I'm best friends with Spider-Man. Spider-Man? Spider-Man, I'm friends with Spider-Man. You're friends with Spider-Man? I'm friends with Spider-Man.
Dude, Spider-Man's my friend.
Awful. It hurt me a little bit eventually.
Yeah, I agree.
All
right.
I felt like there was one more thing I wanted to say, but at this point... Oh. Okay, so I get that this Spider-Man, instead of having an origin movie, had an origin trilogy. Because this is his origin story, is this 3 movies. Okay. I thought people hated origin movies. I thought that's what... People, when Homecoming came out, they were like, finally... Spider-Man movie that's not the origin story. We just had 2. We don't need another. And they got an origin trilogy instead.
I mean...
Because he becomes Spider-Man at the end of this. Because literally, I think it's fair to say he's Iron Man Jr. in these first 3.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
This is his origin story. They got 3 for the price of 1.
Yeah, but he's not going to... I mean...
He's not in the movies anymore. Well,
Yeah.
he will be, I guess, in other people's movies. But as far as I know, there are no more Spider-Man movies planned.
Yeah, so who even knows? Whatever.
Spider-Man, No Way Home. There kind of was a way home, but not really.
All right. Let's go to the news. Holy crap.
What?
That was just a lot.
Oz Dune. Speaking of Tom Holland, he's going to be Fred Astaire in a new biopic for Sony Pictures. He was that famous dancer, which makes sense because I'm pretty sure he is trained at least somewhat in dancing. I know he's a gymnast. That's how he keeps the physique.
Oh, nice.
And so that's just the new thing he's going to be doing. One of the things, along with Uncharted, he's going to be doing this biopic. That'll be nice seeing him do these. I guess maybe he's... Well, I would say he's itching for like more dramatic roles, but he's come out in interviews and said that like he doesn't want to act, which is very strange.
Yeah, who knows?
I don't know what's up with Tom. But all I know is that him and Zendaya are pretty cute together.
Unless it's all a facade.
Too cute.
Yeah.
Marvel's Blade, keeping on the Marvel train, reboot casts Delroy Lindo alongside
Nice.
Mahershala Ali.
Nice.
And that's very cool.
That's big.
And yeah, I love Delroy Lindo. Spike Lee introduced me to the man.
Thank you, Spike.
And I am forever grateful. Very cool.
Yeah, Delroy Lindo's
absolutely
great.
Snubbed for the Five Bloods, but that's okay.
Yeah, what the freak?
Just to bring up old wounds. Keanu Reeves says he jumped off a 46-story building 19 times to get a stunt right in Matrix Resurrections.
Well, this movie better be awesome then, because there's no way Keanu goes through all that for this movie not to be great. So.
He's 57.
Amazing.
And he did 19, 20 times over the course of 2 days to get it right. Wow.
That's just awesome. I'm honestly low-key getting hyped for the Matrix Resurrections.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, one of the things is that even Lana Wachowski said that the Matrix, one of the things is doing it right, doing it real, getting the right light and everything, and just doing that for the Matrix, which does put you in a good headspace for hoping that the movie will be good. I'm hearing that from its director.
That would be sick.
So, it's very soon. Very soon.
Very, very soon.
Next. Destiny 2 Bungie. Okay. It was covering the whole screen.
Big ad.
An Alita Battle Angel sequel is still possible.
Let's go.
Says Rob Rod. He says light adaptation, it could totally happen. It's the cyberpunk multimedia IP Battle Angel Alita, created by Yukito Kishiro. And yeah, James Cameron of the original one developed it, but Rob Rod took it.
Thank you, Rob Rog.
Thank you. And
what?
You never get tired of her face, her big face.
She's got anime eyes.
It's very cool.
She's got real life CGI anime eyes.
I hope it happens. I know that people are really
ride
for it.
so hard
They really
for Alita.
do.
There's like a whole hive of people that love Alita Battle Angel, and they'll just like comment under like anything about the movie, and they'll just be like, "Fucking love Alita."
They love Alita Battle Angel almost as much as you love Denis Villeneuve.
It's true.
Who's directing Rendezvous with Rama for Alcon and Revelations Entertainment. I just thought I'd throw in the Denis news.
We love him. Obviously working on Dune 2 right now. I guess that will come after.
Maybe.
But I also heard that he was thinking about maybe doing Dune Messiah, which would be cool. So
That would
maybe
be cool.
he would do like this movie, then Dune Messiah after, or just like who knows.
Whatever. Just keep it coming.
Honestly, dude, make movies. Let's go.
Keep working. Pumping them out.
I love it.
What's up? Next, some good news.
This is great news. I saw this and I rejoiced.
I shouldn't say this, but Cowboy Bebop canceled at Netflix after one season.
Wonderful.
So all those people no longer have jobs. Hooray.
Well, if they made something good, maybe they would still have their jobs. That's all I'm saying.
No, I mean, was it bad enough to be canceled? Yes.
Absolutely.
Should we be happy that like somebody's vision is destroyed? No, but
if their vision was stupid,
it was kind of not great. How much did you see? Still the one clip?
I watched half of the first episode, stopped, then saw the clip, and was like, I'm so glad I did not continue.
Yeah, it's really rough. I mean, at least it'll be there as like a milestone of like what not to do, I guess. I honestly don't enjoy like shitting on things like this because this isn't on the same level as like Marvel movies, that's punching up. And obviously this is punching up because I don't make movies, but it is a different feel. It was just a bad idea from the start, probably.
Yep.
Why try to translate this incredibly stylized 2 animation thing to live action? It just feels like you're trying to get people into it.
Yep.
Which that's not going to really sell you much, you know? That's all I have to say.
I agree.
This is just a little thing. American Dad, renewed for seasons 18 and 19 by TBS. Still going.
That's cool.
American Dad.
I don't watch and have never watched any of like those like adult comedy cartoons. American Dad.
Not even Big Mouth?
Whatever that is. Big Mouth.
Rick and Morty?
No Rick and Morty for me.
What?
Futurama. I literally don't watch any of those.
The only one that I watched, like I've seen it, is Futurama. Futurama's pretty good.
Futurama has the gif. Shut up and take my money.
Yeah, exactly. I like Futurama a lot. American Dad, that's a fun enough show. American Dad was the show that mostly I would watch like weekends when I was a kid when I just wanted to stay up late.
Yeah.
It was the only show that I liked. I mean, this and Family Guy, I guess, which is like the McFarlane thing. So that's like I don't watch the show actually, but that was my introduction to it.
Yeah,
you know?
I gotcha.
So it's cool that it's still going.
That is cool.
So many years later. Idris Elba is in the Sonic 2 trailer that came out. Sonic 2.
Knuckles and Tails.
Knuckles and Tails.
I don't know anything about that, but apparently it's big that they're going to be in this movie. Big news.
What do you mean? Tails and Knuckles, they're the other people who live on the planet that Sonic's from.
Of course. How could I forget? How could I forget?
Isn't it called like Morbius? Not Morbius. I think it's called Mobius.
Wow.
Like Morbius, but Mobius.
Mobius. Yeah, cool. Sonic 2. Let's go. I haven't even seen Sonic 1 because, to be honest, don't really care about Sonic. But you know what's awesome is that Jim Carrey has done nothing for the past like 10 years, but he's been in 2 Sonic movies.
That is good.
That is choice.
They wear little snow outfits in this, and
That's
they're cute. They're very cute.
I'm sure people will love this.
I'll go see it.
Cool.
I like the Sonic movie.
The Sonic.
I hope they go to Olive Garden in it. Last of Us HBO series casts Nick Offerman as Bill.
Ooh, I kind of like that. I thought weren't they filming that?
Yeah. I thought so. I thought they finished, but maybe it just came out.
Oh, I saw, I think it said recasting. So they must have had somebody else, but it wasn't working out. So
no, just cast.
No, recasting right there.
What?
The Last of Us series, HBO has tapped Nick Offerman to play Bill in a recasting.
Con O'Neill. I don't know who that is. Oh, it's a guest starring role, so I guess it's not really that big of a deal because it would just be like one episode. If it
right,
was,
yeah, Bill would just be like a one.
If
thing.
it was like the
right, depending how close they go to the game, it would just be like a 1 episode thing.
Which this makes it sound like it's at least gonna be sort of close.
Cool. He actually looks very similar to him. I never noticed.
Yeah. Just get the
Nick
hair out
Offerman,
here.
I think, is actually a really good dramatic
Devs,
actor.
of course.
Yeah, he's really good in that. Underrated dramatic actor, so I think he should be good in this. Hopefully, I'm really banking on this being good. It's gotta be. I mean, no, okay, hold on. It doesn't gotta be good, but I really hope it is good.
When you see the people behind it, and obviously the source material being good, but again, the question is why? Because the game is already so cinematic.
Right.
It's just to draw the non-gamer crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows?
We'll see what they do with it. I'm honestly kind of excited to see.
Okay, I'm glad. Are you excited for the Halo TV show?
Yes, because it looks freaking awesome.
The Halo TV show canon will exist separate from the games with Silver Timeline.
Oh, that sucks.
So it does for you?
Yeah, I like it when everything's together.
Nothing's going to not matter, but it's just going to be its own separate thing. Who knows if the TV show would spawn into then other things that would be part of the Silver Timeline?
Yeah.
Or what if they even made, like, this is Halo in the Silver Timeline game?
Oh, you know that would be cool. See, that would be cool if they did that.
That might be interesting.
I mean, it's not, like, totally terrible that it's not, like, canon in, like, the main series, but that's why, I mean, even though Forward Unto Dawn's not really a great movie, it was cool that, like, that was right before Halo 4. This is what the Chief was doing. I just think that's cool.
Here's the thing about this, and this is why I could imagine they did this. Halo has, like, what? Like 7, 8 games now.
Mm-hmm.
It has countless books, comic books, like
That's
lore
true.
books that all stay in the canon. An anime series, apparently. A ton of that extra shit.
So now they can do like
that all stays in canon.
Whatever.
Now they can be like, this is the core stuff. We don't have to worry about breaking canon and being like, oh, this can't happen because in book 2 from 1985, which came out way before the first game.
Right.
I think
honestly,
that's a good idea.
You're kind of making it a little more appealing for me.
Because I don't think this is going to be like taking Halo in a new direction. I think it's just a way for them to be like, the weight of 20 years of Halo is off our back.
Right.
You know?
That's cool.
So I like that.
That is cool. And the trailer, I don't know if you watched it, but it looks pretty cool. Master Chief looks really really
cool.
good.
Just running with the video game assorted news here. Death Stranding developer Kojima Productions launches TV and film and a music division. So
Cool.
he's really branching out. Of course, Hideo Kojima being the head of Kojima Productions. It's very cool. It'll be based in Los Angeles.
Cool. Did you ever play that game?
A little bit.
So you never finished it? You didn't like it, or?
No, I liked it. It wasn't mine.
Oh,
I just was at someone's like, I have Death Stranding. I was like, oh, can I check it out? They're like, sure. Played
Death
it. I was like,
Stranding.
oh, cool.
What do you tell somebody? You're like, oh, I was playing this cool game, Death Stranding. And they're like, what kind of game is it?
It's a Strand game.
I know, but then they would be like, what's that?
Well, you got to play it.
You'd be like, well, it's quite literally the first of its kind.
It's a delivery game. You make deliveries.
You do.
And then sometimes monsters attack, and you got to piss on them.
Yeah, I always forget you can pee in that game.
Mm-hmm.
So
And it's
cool.
effective.
That's so cool.
Yeah. I wish you could pee more.
There should be more games where you can just pee in.
You would like Postal. I think you can pee in Postal.
More piss. Can you pee in Cyberpunk?
Probably, right? Why else would you have that thing?
It's true.
Yeah. Mm.
I don't know. By the way, still waiting for Cyberpunk on the PS5 so I can actually play it.
Yeah.
Because I refuse.
Why don't you
to
get on
play.
the PC?
Huh?
You have a good PC now.
Yeah.
Back before you didn't, but now you do.
Yeah, but I'm still like waiting. This game's still not ready yet.
Oh, people on PC it's ready. Come on.
Not for me.
Okay.
I wait for PS5 version.
But literally, the PS5 version, like the PC version's not going to get upgraded with it. Like, you could probably make it better with like mods and stability things that people probably made than the PS5 version, which still might not be good.
well, that's what I'm doing. Okay.
Okay, I respect it. That's it for the news.
Fantastic.
We can get to our spotlight.
Ho ho ho! Merry Christmas! I'm gonna kill Santa Claus
With a gun.
We're talking about Santa Claus Trilogy with Tim Allen. Can you freaking believe it?
So I talked about on our last episode, if you watched in the news, that in the original The Santa Claus film that came out in 1994. Who directed it?
1994. John Pasquin
Okay.
directing.
In the original story, he kills Santa Claus, like, with a gun, like he shoots him to death.
That would be much better, in my opinion.
I actually think it would be better, too, having seen this movie, because, guys, heads up, I didn't like it. In my memory, I liked it. Watching it,
These movies are always just great in memory. I still think the first one is okay. I think it's fine.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, it's bad.
Let's get into the plot, why don't we, before we take it apart.
Tim Allen plays Scott Calvin, a divorced father,
Manufacturer.
He's a toy manufacturer dude. He's got one son, small child.
Charlie.
He's probably like 7, 8,
Sure, I'm bad with ages.
maybe 10.
No, not 10. Jesus.
Okay.
Might as well call him 20.
And one day his son, Charlie, comes over for Christmas Eve, and he's like, I don't want to be here. I will say, I'll get into it more as we keep going, but he's literally like, I don't want to be with my dad. I don't like him. And the mom is like, it's okay. What's her name? Laura is like, it's all right. It's just one day. And he's like, whatever. So then Tim Allen's like, not being a good dad. He just kind of like tells him a story, and he like lights the turkey on fire. And then they go to bed, but then Santa lands on the roof, and Charlie's like, wake up, Dad. I heard a clatter. And he's like, what are you talking about? Goes outside. Santa's on the roof.
He's like, hey.
Spooks him, and Santa slips and falls and dies. He hits the ground and he dies. So Scott Calvin is like, dude, what the freak? So he puts on the suit, which then binds the contract.
The Santa Claus.
The Santa Claus. Ha, get it? Now he's Santa, and so he goes around and does Santa for the rest of the night.
Yeah, he does Santa, and then he wakes up, and he's like, oh, what a crazy dream. And he, like, apparently might have, like, slight amnesia, or it's his brain just being like, oh, that's so impossible that he sort of forgets it. Because there's points where he literally seems to forget details. Like, he's like, Charlie, how did we get to the thing? And he's like, the sleigh. And he's like, right. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like he actually does forget a little bit.
Then they end up at the North Pole.
Bernard's there.
Bernard's there, and he's like, I'm the head elf.
Best part of the movie.
Bernard, great, fantastic person.
Okay, so here's the thing. The elves are very old. There's an elf, Abby or Judy, who brings him hot cocoa. One of the two.
Right.
And she says, like, oh, I've been working on this hot cocoa for the last 1,200 years. And she looks like a very little girl. Bernard looks like a slightly older boy. So
Right.
if she's at least 1,200, and let's be honest, at least like 1,300, right? Because she can't be elf baby making hot cocoa.
Right.
He's got to be like at least 2,000 years old, probably.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right.
He's very old. He's a birth of Christ, this kid.
I mean, he was there. Bernard, he is Jesus.
Well, I don't know about that. That's This is not that
So-
kind of Christmas movie.
All right. Fine.
Yeah.
Take a step back. Bernard is like, you need to be Santa. And Tim Allen's like, I can't be Santa. And he's like, well,
Tough
it's
luck,
too
you put
bad.
on the suit.
You do it. Look at this little fine print.
Anyone who puts on the suit will immediately become Santa and agree to all locations.
Cool. So he's like, okay. And he's like, don't worry. You have 11 months off now.
Yeah, it's totally cool.
So to do whatever you want. So he's like, okay. So he goes back home.
Yeah, and he gives the little kid a snow globe. He's like, check out this cool snow globe. Here you go.
Right. Charlie has a cool snow globe now. And Charlie's like, dude, my dad's Santa now. And everyone's like, shut up, Charlie. You're so stupid.
And then he's like, no, you're stupid. My dad's Santa. I went to the North Pole. And everyone's like, okay, your child is mentally disturbed.
Right.
You need to see a professional. But luckily, his ex-wife's husband, Neil, is a therapist.
Really great.
Which
one,
the
too.
movie thinks that's really funny.
Right, yeah.
The movie, like, 3 times, they're like, he's not a real doctor. He's a therapist.
Yeah. So there's a funny part like right after where it's like it's like at school, it's like have your parents show what they do like for a living or whatever. And like it cuts to that scene and like some kid's parent is like doing, he's a firefighter. And there's a part where he's like being really serious. He's like, remember kids, 3rd-degree burns are the most painful. And then that's it. He stops. I just think that's really
Like,
funny.
Thank you. Well, that's why they say, Charlie, why don't you bring up your dad? He's a therapist, right? That might help. You know,
That's just funny.
that is funny.
And he's like, my dad is Santa. And they're all like, ah.
And he's like, no, I'm a toy maker. He's like, no, you're Santa.
He's like, I'm like Santa.
And he's like, how'd you become Santa? Well, I killed the other guy. And the little kid's like, so if I wanted to become Santa, all I'd have to do is kill you. And
Push
he's
you
like,
off a roof.
yeah, I
He's like,
guess.
yeah.
Which we'll get back to that later.
So yeah, then they are just kind of like, hey, this is a problem. And then he's like, and Charlie gets upset because dad seems to
Not believe
not
anymore.
believe him.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then he gets him and he's like, hey man, we can't tell anybody that I'm Santa because
Let's keep it a secret.
that's just not how it works. And he's like,
Which is
"Okay."
actually how it works. And it's weird that they didn't tell him that he couldn't tell people he was Santa at the North Pole because that's literally one of the rules.
Yeah.
But whatever. That's sequel stuff that kind of ties back in.
Right, yeah, the sequel's so great. What the heck happens after that? What is it like?
He sits in the park and he starts getting Santified.
Right,
So
yeah, he
gets
becoming
fat. He
and
grows
gets
the white beard.
Right, the beard grows like he's like, I just shaved this morning and look at my beard.
Yeah,
like
it's
this
weird
long."
that he doesn't prove that to anybody. To me,
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's true.
he's like, just watch. Oh, that's not normal.
Yeah, he like goes to the doctor and he's like, yeah, it's fine, just diet a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes to like his like toy place and meeting and he shows up in like this really tight gray sweatpants, gray
Mm-hmm.
sweatshirt, and everyone's like, oh god.
What happened? He's like, bee sting.
Yeah, he's like, I swelled up.
They get lunch. He gets like a fudge sundae and a bunch of sweets and whatever. And he's just like absolutely noshing on them. Weird
Yeah.
thing. Again, this is sequels again. But his boss in this scene plays Father Time in the next 2 movies. Is that purposeful?
Oh wait, really?
Yeah, it's the same
didn't
actor.
notice.
Is that supposed to be like, oh, his boss was Father Time, or
Yeah, maybe he became Father Time like after.
maybe? Where's the Father Time clause?
Don't know. So yeah. What happens after that? I'm trying to remember.
I know.
I just watched
It's
these.
so much. Okay, so he does that. He's fat. He's like, oh, whatever. Man,
What the freak happens?
basically, they're like, this is serious. Scott has a problem because now he's saying he's Santa Claus. We need to keep him away from Charlie. Let's get a restraining order. Like, let's do the custody battle so he doesn't have custody of Charlie anymore. They do that. And then he kidnaps Charlie and says, it's time for Christmas.
Literally though.
And he takes Charlie, and him and Charlie go deliver all the presents. I should say, back on the first night, I did kind of enjoy the scene. The first night, it's like maybe his second like delivery. There's like this little girl sleeping on the couch. And she's like, Santa. And he's like, oh, this milk is bad. Like, I'm lactose intolerant. Can you, like, not? Whatever. And he's just kind of being a dick to her. He's like, go to sleep.
Yeah.
And then later at this final one, he goes back to that house and he's drinking the milk and he's like, ugh, what's wrong with you? You can't get this right. She's like, you said you were lactose intolerant. And he's like, oh, yeah, I did.
He's like, right.
Whatever. Merry Christmas. And he flies away.
Yeah. I don't remember when this joke happens, but I remember there's a joke where someone's like walking around the North Pole and they're like, oh,
They're not in the North Pole a lot in this movie.
they're like, look at all the elves or whatever. And someone like whispers to them, they're like, they're not elves. We call them little people.
No, that's in the classroom with the firemen. That's what the teacher says.
Oh.
Because she's like, it works with elves. And she's
teacher's
like,
so funny.
Charlie, we don't call them elves. You know,
They're little people.
yeah. So there's
funny.
that. Eventually comes, and the police have surrounded the house.
Right, yeah, because they're gonna like arrest. Because yeah,
They do arrest him.
they
Yeah,
send out to like arrest all like the people dressed up as Santa.
to fight Scott Calvin because they're like child endangerment.
Right.
You know,
So then they arrest him, but then
They
he's
arrest
like, "Look, I'm magic."
he goes to prison. Don't they send in the ELF?
The elf force or whatever. Yeah.
It's the elf litigation force or whatever. I forget what it is.
And
They fly in on their jetpacks.
Yeah.
They just straight up walk up to the guy in the
Sounds so
thing,
ridiculous.
and they're like, "We're not kids," and they tie him up and they free him.
Yeah.
They get him back home, and he sees Charlie. And he's like, "Oh, Charlie, I love you," and they're like, "Scott, you're not Santa." He's like, "But I am, though."
And they're all like, "OMG, the magic of Christmas."
Yeah, because then he like gives. Does he give him the presents then, or later? Because he gives her like the date party board game, and he gets the weenie whistle. I don't know if it's that scene.
My weenie whistle. Yeah, it's the end because that's the end of the movie.
Mhm. And then he says, Bernard shows up and he's like, "Whoa, what's going on? It's crazy." And they're like, "Oh my God, Elf." And then he says goodbye to Charlie. He's like, "Charlie, listen, this can't work. You got to stay with your mom and Neil. And I got to be Santa Claus in the North Clothes. Think of all the kids that'll be disappointed." So the kid hugs him and says, "I love you, Santa." That line always hits me weird.
This is what I always thought because before he becomes Santa, Charlie hates his dad. Well,
Yeah.
doesn't like hate him, but like really doesn't like
like
being
him.
with him. And then he becomes Santa, and then Charlie's like infatuated with him.
Mhm.
So it's like,
He doesn't love his dad. He loves Santa.
yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
How
It's
fucked up is that?
exactly. That's why this movie makes me feel weird.
So yeah, then the movie ends, and it's like happy, I guess.
He leaves off to the sleigh. Everyone sees him, and again, what's up with the secrets? But whatever, who cares? And then Charlie, with the snow globe that he got, if he shakes it, he can like summon his father, and he does it immediately. He basically runs outside and shakes it.
Yep.
And then Dad comes down and is like, "What? I just left."
Yeah, literally.
And they hug. And then there's a line that I just have to point out
Okay.
that Neil comes over to Charlie and he's like, "Hey, you did a really good job. I think you handled that super well. Maybe you could be a psychiatrist, a therapist too one day." And Charlie looks at him, looks at his dad / Santa, and says, "I think I'm going to take up the family business."
Oh yeah, he's gonna kill his dad.
Implying that one day he will kill his father and take the mantle of Santa Claus. Because I'm assuming Tim Allen is now immortal, right?
Maybe.
He's not going to live a normal human amount of time and then new Santa, right?
I mean, I guess, yeah.
That wouldn't make sense to me, but I guess it's never really said. In Santa Claus 4, they could answer that.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. There's a theory with this movie,
Okay.
which I choose to believe because it seems true,
Okay.
that it was not an accident that Santa fell off the roof that day in front of Scott Calvin's house. He was murdered. He was killed by the elves. They did it. They killed him. It was a hit. Think about it.
Is this a theory or did you come up with this?
When they get to the North Pole, is anybody surprised? Is anybody like, "Whoa, who's this guy?" Is anybody like, "What?" All that happens is Bernard goes, "You're the new Santa." Then he walks. Tim asks all these questions, and he's like, "What happened? Why am I doing this? Blah, 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 blah. Where'd the other guy go?" Or the only question he answers is, "Where'd the other guy go?" He looks at him and goes, "He disappeared, right?" And Tim goes, "Yeah." And then he keeps walking. So the only question he cared about is what happened to him. He disappeared. He's out. The other thing, I wasn't sure on this because I saw somebody else put this forward. Apparently, there are some elves hidden in this movie. Apparently, there's a child in his classroom who has pointy ears who is actually an elf. I've been told. I didn't see it when I watched it, but somebody told me that. Apparently there's some in the other crowds too. Like, remember at the end when all the elves walk into the crowd and they have all the pointy ears? Like, they were all in the movie already at some point.
Why is this so deep?
And so it's like, this was a hit. Apparently that Santa was awful. In the movies, they say Christmas has become so much better since you become Santa. The guy was obviously bad at his job. Obviously, maybe that he's the reason why, the one who died, that Laura and Neil didn't get the presents when they were kids because that guy was Santa and he was a bad Santa.
I have a headache.
I'm just saying. It's a theory.
Honestly, though, it makes so much sense.
Theory. It's better. It would have been better if he shoots him with a gun and it was also a setup. I think it makes the movie better. Because you like this movie, but I actually don't like this movie.
I think it's nice.
And I think the reason I don't like it is because it's not nice to me. This movie's naughty. It's
getting cold.
This movie's
getting cold.
Cynical to me.
Cynical.
That's good. It comes off as too cynical, and it feels like it's writing. It feels like, honestly, a script that was like, oh, this is like a satirical take on a Christmas movie. And then they were like, just turn it into an actual Christmas movie. And then they didn't. And it didn't really make the transformation to me.
Could be.
It just hit me the wrong way. Also, it gave me a lot of Liar Liar vibes, even though that came after. And I couldn't shake it.
Interesting.
And maybe it hit just a little too close to home.
That's a very deep insight from you.
Yeah, what about Santa Claus 2?
So Santa Claus 2 gets even better.
Oh.
Michael Lembeck comes on to direct.
This is like 8 years later?
10.
10?
Oh, wait, no. 8.
8, okay. 8 years later.
8 years later, boom, they're like, you know what? Let's make a second one. This one's going to be about, okay, if Santa Claus doesn't get married by Christmas Eve, he's going to not be Santa Claus anymore.
Which is the Mrs. Claus.
The Mrs. Claus.
Which is on the same card, but it's like way tinier.
Yeah. So Charlie, who's played by the same actor, is like way older now. He's in high school.
Yeah.
And he's a rebel. He does graffiti.
He does freehand spray painting, which is like
amazing.
He is. I have another
talented.
theory.
Okay.
Is Charlie Calvin Banksy?
Who?
Okay, never mind. He's just like the most famous graffiti street artist ever in history.
Well, you know you can't do references with me. Okay, I'm not good at that.
I won't try anymore.
Maybe.
Maybe. I'm gonna say yes.
And he gets caught by the principal, who is just a dime.
Oh, baby.
She is mad hot.
Light my FIRE.
Literally. Elizabeth Mitchell? Wow.
She can stuff my stocking. Wait, maybe I should. Either way.
Hey, you know?
She's very attractive.
And so then he gets in trouble, and Scott Calvin's like, Charlie, you need to stop this. And he's like, yeah,
whatever.
Okay, I won't.
And basically, okay, so his home life's going crazy. He's like, my son's being naughty. Santa Christmas is being crazy. I need to get married. I can't pee two places at once. So Curtis,
new elf,
Spencer Breslin, I believe.
Yeah.
Is 900 years old. He's a little on the young side, I guess.
Just a babe.
And he's like elf number 2. He's like, hey, I forgot to tell you there's a Mrs. Claus. You have to get married. I didn't tell you, so now you only have 30 days.
Sorry.
Really weird that they're so concerned about it, and so their solution is to never tell him.
Right.
Like it's
yeah. So they make a clone of him.
He's like, I have a clone machine. I can make a toy Santa, and he'll be you. Makes a toy Santa. Very scary.
Like Uncanny Valley type thing.
Yeah.
He's frightening.
Very frightening.
And he's terrible. Also played by Tim Allen.
Yes, of course. It's a clone.
Just funny.
Is it?
The way he acts, I think, is just funny.
It's not funny. It's scary. My fight or flight response was activated when I watched this film.
So while he's up there, Tim Allen's trying to get laid, and
he has a date with a woman who really loves Christmas, and honestly, seems like a nice lady. She's just a little extra.
Yeah.
Probably would have made a really good Mrs. Claus if you thought of it in like a royalty way of like, just joining the houses. This isn't a real thing. I can have a woman, you know?
Yeah.
But
I know.
She loves Christmas. She does like a song and dance in the middle of the restaurant. And he's like, wow, that was a lot. And she freaks out on him.
Yeah.
This'll never work. So he has to go deal with Charlie again. The principal's there. He's like, wait, this principal kind of
Kind of baddie.
She's kind of a girl boss when you think about it.
So he gets with her.
He gets where they date.
Eventually, he wins her over because in the one scene that I actually think is affecting in this film, they're at like a staff party.
Right.
And he's there.
And he uses the little bit of his Christmas magic that he has left to make toys appear for all the people, like toys that they always wanted when they were kids, but they never got.
And they like open them, and he's like, "Oh man, Rock'em Sock'em Robots! This is what I always wanted." And I just thought it was sweet.
And so the drab adult party where everyone's just kind of standing still and whatever, not really talking to each other, it turns into this big thing, like, oh, childhood wonder.
And she's like, "How'd you do that?"
Here's the thing.
What?
She's like,
ruin it.
No, I just told you about this baby doll that I wanted when I was a little girl an hour ago. How did you do this? And her mind is like wonder and mystery instead of like, oh my God, has he been stalking me and everyone? Like, I would find this deeply unsettling if I was like, this weird man, what is he doing?
Yeah.
He's completely desantified at this point too. He's just like,
right, yeah, he's hot now.
He's hot. He's not fat and old.
Yeah, he's hottie.
They kiss and he's like, I'm Santa. And she's like, wow, you're not going to be serious with me? Okay.
Yeah, what the hell,
And he's like, I literally just did a bunch of magic. What? And she's like, I don't believe you. And he
kicks
leaves.
him out.
And he's like, well, I guess I'm not going to be Santa anymore. Okay.
That sucks.
Yeah. And then Charlie says something really mean, I think, because he's like, how dare you date her behind my back? It was like their first date, bro.
Yeah, like,
he didn't have time to tell you. They just went on a date.
Charlie, calm down.
But he's in his punk skater phase, so it's okay.
He is.
He's like, yeah, it doesn't matter, you're Santa, because who cares about Christmas anymore? My dad is having sex with my principal.
Yeah, how does he win her back?
He wins her back by forcing her into marriage. No, what happens is he's like, I got to get to the North Pole. Curtis comes down in the jetpack. He's like, you got to come, everything's wrong. The toy soldier is taken over.
Right, yeah, he becomes Hitler. Toy Santa quite literally becomes Hitler. He dresses up like him and everything. Extremely problematic stuff happening in the second half of this film.
Elves that are wearing striped, sleepwear, and he puts them all into a room.
He literally puts them all into a room and locks them. It's actually fucking unreal.
It's fight or flight response.
That is just like, wow. That's like Eternals.
Like it was
level.
past like laughing at it. I was just like, I can't believe this happened. Like
it's
Disney
a real thing.
Did this? Hold on.
When did what?
I don't know. Let's talk about the movie. So he does that. He comes back and Toy Santa's like, I'm better than you ever were.
Yeah. So then they just kind of like, and he's like, you know what? What the heck, man? You were supposed to be cool. And he's like, well, I'm better now. I'm better. So we're going to fight. So they have a big war. Mm-hmm. In an epic action sequence.
The elves are all throwing snowballs at the toy nutcracker soldiers.
They fight, and the elves and Tim Allen Santa win.
They do, and they make him small.
And then they win, and then he gets the girl again. She's like, you know what? This is cool.
Well, because what happens is, we skipped ahead a little bit. Because he tries to fly back to the North Pole with the reindeer. The reindeer is too fat, and it farts everywhere. He's like, okay, this is gonna work.
Right. There's the reindeer in all the movies, all they do is fart. Mm-hmm. It's so stupid.
And they're very weird looking. And the effects, like the special effects, are like not as good as they should be, in my opinion. For like a Disney movie, you think you'd try a little harder.
Yeah.
So he uses the Tooth Fairy to like fly to the North Pole, and that's how the principal gets there, because Charlie, sees how bad his dad was, and he rips out his own like front tooth.
Yeah.
Which I guess we are supposed to assume it's still technically a baby tooth, I guess.
Okay.
And then he uses the Tooth Fairy to get him and the principal to the North
sweet.
Pole. And then she's just like, oh, you actually are Santa. Then he just says, yes, and we have to get married. And she just says, okay.
She's like, all right, I'm in love with you, baby.
And they get married, and he does Christmas, and the day is saved. And then the end credits scene is she's Mrs. Claus, and she has a fat suit. And she does like a funny dance, which
really
it's end credits.
Like after the credits?
No, it's not end credits, but it's into the credits a bit.
Oh, okay.
She puts on a fat suit and she's like dancing and she's like, "I'm Mrs. Claus, woo!" Which we'll see in the next movie is retconned. They're like, she can't be fat, she's hot.
She's got to be hot.
So the next movie, she doesn't have a fat suit. Santa Claus 3.
Yeah.
Unless you had anything else.
Well, wait, hold on. Yeah, there's one thing.
Yeah.
This Santa Claus 2 introduces like the council of like people that has like Santa Claus,
The
Easter
legendary
Bunny,
figures, I think.
Mother Nature. Who, hello.
Yeah, that's what is her name? Aisha Taylor or something like that.
Let's see if we.
Oh, it's gonna be down there, isn't it?
find
Yeah,
it.
Aisha Taylor. Right?
Yep, you're right.
Tyler.
Tyler.
She is. If you've seen Archer, she's Lana in Archer. She's
Nice.
really, really funny in that too.
So yeah, and I remember there's one funny part where like the first time they're together,
Cupid there too.
Yeah, Cupid. Tooth Fairy's like, I want a new name, so they like vote for a new name, and that was just funny. He's just like, I want to be the Molinator.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I thought it was funny.
He said one of his other names he put for is Tooth.
Tooth.
It's like just Tooth. That was a little funnier to me.
I love it. Also, I wonder if the council from these movies inspired the later film Rise of the Guardians.
Well, that's where our next film comes in because we have the Santa Claus 3, The Escape Clause.
What? This movie is almost incomprehensible.
This is my favorite one.
You just love Martin Short.
I love Martin Short as Jack Frost. He's so good.
He is good.
It is an inspired performance from Martin Short.
Michael Lembeck is back again in 2006 for Santa Claus 3, The Escape Clause.
Here's the thing about this movie, just to say it right off the bat. The first movie was like too cynical to be sweet. The middle movie...
The Santa Claus 2, just wow. Hello.
The third film is too sweet to be cynical. Because they try... we'll get there. But they try at some point to make like a consumerism of Christmas is bad thing with the whole plot that they don't really handle that well because it's like a little kid's movie.
Yeah.
So it's like a flip side problem of the other one. But since these are supposed to be Christmas movies, I think it ends up working weirdly better, even though it is just like balls to the wall. What?
Yeah. So this is what happens. Starts off, boom, she's pregnant. Mrs. Claus is pregnant.
That is.
She's like, I'm going to have the baby. And then she's like, wait, just kidding. False alarm. They're like, okay, whatever.
It's like her due date was like now. Christmas is like next week. It better happen soon because if it comes on Christmas, he's going to miss the delivery.
Yeah. So the council is like, yo, we need to have a meeting. And he's like, well, I'm too busy right now. It's like, okay, they came here. Okay, cool. Everybody's there. Jack Frost is there now, too.
Yeah.
Jack Frost is like, yo,
he is
I need to do things.
Technically a legendary figure. That's what they say, that he's technically on the same genre. Like, it's not like he's an elf or whatever, but he's just, nobody takes him seriously because he doesn't have a holiday. He's not Mother Nature, so he's not like whatever.
Right. He just makes things cold.
He makes things cold.
And he's like, I'll work for you. Let me work for you. And he's like, fine, okay.
Yeah.
But also, the in-laws are coming.
Mm-hmm.
And
This is Claus'
the in-laws think that he's still just like a toy guy. So they dress up the North Pole as Canada. And they just put like, they're like Canadian bacon, maple syrup.
Stuff like that. Hockey.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they come over. And who's the...
Sandman?
No, the
father-in-law?
Alan Arkin. Just amazing.
Yeah, he's very good in this.
And they come and they're just like oblivious. And there's a funny part where they're like looking at all like the elves. They're like, wow. And then I forget who says it, but someone's like, yeah, this is just what people look like in Canada.
That's just how it is. There's a thing that Tim Allen does, which I don't think it works in this movie, but it makes it work because it doesn't work so hard, where he doesn't try to hide the fact that he's fooling them at all. Because like someone will say something like that, and then he'll just go and stare at them, like seeing if they believe, and then they'll be like, okay, and then he'll be like, phew, woo, and he like just does it openly in front of them.
Jeez.
And it's so bizarre. Jack Frost is kind of sneaking around. He goes to Curtis, and he's like, it's cool that like you're the head elf now. By the way,
Bernard, not in this
Bernard
one.
gone. His actor just was like in a TV show at the time, so they just couldn't, which I understand. Okay,
There's a small earthquake happening
yeah.
currently.
It's okay. So his actor just couldn't be in it. It's very sad. Bernard was a highlight of both films, I think.
Yeah.
So it's sad that he's gone, but whatever. Movie doesn't suffer too much. Honestly, I was kind of hoping Curtis would leave and it would just be Bernard again.
Yeah.
But
What are
it's
you going to
fine.
do?
Curtis basically like
He gets manipulated by Jack Frost.
yeah, he's like, oh, it's too sad that you aren't trusted enough with all the delicate information. He's like, I'm trusted with information. Oh yeah, then I guess you would know about like the escape clause. He's like, I know, it's this, this, and this. And he goes, oh wow, you are smart. And he like pats him on the head. And he's like, my plan.
The escape clause is if he holds like a certain snow globe and says he doesn't want to be Santa, he won't be Santa
He
anymore.
has to say very specifically, like, I wish I was never Santa at all. I think it's like the specific wording.
Yeah.
So he hatches a plan. He goes around the place. He
causes just mayhem.
yeah, he blows cold. So he like
I invented freeze.
no, he says Lucy. He's freaking out on Lucy. He's like, where did you get that? He's like, she's like, dude, chill. I invented chill.
Oh, chill.
Yeah,
So good.
it's very cool.
And he freezes Laura and Neil
Yeah, he does.
right in front of her.
Horrifying, and he's like, get in the closet and be quiet, or else I'll freeze you too.
It's kind of scary.
It is. And she does. She's like, fine. So he's gotten his hands on the snow globe now. He's just causing mayhem everywhere. He goes up to Tim Allen. He's like, wow, I got you a gift to brighten your spirits.
Yep.
And then he gets the gift and he unwraps it or whatever. And he's like, I know this must have been tough. Sometimes you must wish you've never been Santa at all. And he goes, yeah, sometimes I do wish that.
Magic,
No.
magic. Oh.
He goes, wish what? Wish that I wasn't Santa. At all? Yeah, sometimes I wish I wasn't Santa at all. And he goes, ah,
Magic.
He's like, "Gah."
Boom. He gets TP'd.
Teleported. I thought it was Twin Peaks.
Oh, could be.
Oh.
And then OMG is just normal Tim Allen now. But-
He's in like a pet or like a high-rise office building
Right, yeah, and someone's like, he's like, hey, do we need to send the shipment out for
now
this or
because
this?
they can't do it on tomorrow's Christmas. They can't do it.
And he's like, we don't work on
Christmas Eve. What? He's like,
Christmas
we've
Eve."
always
He's like,
worked.
we always work. And he's like, no, we shouldn't.
What's
do
happening?
that."
I need to go. Where's my family? He's like, I don't know. You never talk about him. He finds his ex-wife and son, and his son like hates him. He's like,
Well, yeah, because he's like, what are you doing here? And he's like, I came to see you.
he's
And
like, when was the last time you saw me? What?
yeah.
So he's what? And the ex-wife is like, what are you doing? And he's like, where's Neil? And she's like, wow, really? You know that I haven't seen him since our divorce that much.
Right.
He's like,
It's
he
like, whoa.
took Lucy to the North Pole. It's like, okay. And he's like, the North Pole.
What?
What? The paper. And he's like, Jack Frost.
Jack Frost turned the North Pole into an amusement park.
So yeah, Jack Frost is Santa now.
Yeah, but he doesn't do Santa. He doesn't do Santa Christmas. He does people pay money
Frostmas.
to go to the North Pole, then they can have like presents, but it's like wild expensive.
It's basically like a big amusement park, which is
Yeah.
funny coming from like a Disney movie.
Right, yeah.
But he goes there, and there's a scene I was kind of talking about where he's walking around, and you hear like parents being like, "I paid good money for this. You better behave." Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then Jack Frost over the speakerphone is like, "Remember, kids, your parents only love you if they buy you something expensive." You know, stuff like that.
Literally.
And so it's all that. He finds Jack Frost. He's like, "Frost, I'm Santa." Curtis and everyone don't remember that he used to be Santa.
Yeah, he
They're
tries.
like, who
but
are
they're
you?
like,
They're like,
"Stop it,
security.
dude."
He doesn't just throw him out or kill him immediately. It's unclear if he still has his ice powers, honestly. It
Yeah.
appears that he doesn't because he doesn't use them. So I can only assume that with becoming Santa, he lost some of the Jack Frostness.
Right.
He does like a Santa show where he's like singing and dancing as Santa. He finds Lucy and Neil, Tim Allen does. He's like, Lucy,
He convinces her.
I know you love snow globes. There's a hall of snow globes right behind this door. You just got to go get it. And he convinces her to do it. She does it. He buys like this weird commemorative pen from the kiosk. He's like, Christmas isn't about this junk. It's like a voice activated pen. And he confronts Jack Frost and he's like, oh, what? You're sad just because what do you mean? You said I would never wish I was Santa at all. And he says the phrase and he records it on the pen.
Yep.
So when Lucy throws the snowball at Jack Frost, he catches it. He's like, good try, but I'm never going to say it. And he plays the pen. He says it. Oh, he goes back.
Oh no.
They're transported back in time to when Tim Allen first put on the suit back in the day. And he has to like wrestle him to the ground and like punch him and be like, stay down, Jack Frost.
Yeah.
I'm going to become Santa again. And
Then he does.
it works. And they all get teleported back. Jack Frost is like there. And he's like, well, Laura and Neil are still frozen. So that's whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh shit. And he's like, Mother Nature, can you like unfreeze him? And she's like, no. Okay, Lucy, come on. You got to hug him. She's like, okay. She hugs Jack Frost, warms his heart, He gets 2 times as creepy.
Kinda.
And Laura Neal unfreeze. The baby gets delivered. We didn't mention that this is all in media res, and that the actual story is being told by Mrs. Claus in a schoolroom of little elf children.
Right.
The movie ends. She's telling the story. Tim Allen comes in with the baby. She's like, "Is this bitch telling stories again?"
Yeah,
Comes
that's
in
what he says.
with Buddy Claus, this little baby boy,
Mhm.
and they're like, "Yay!" And the movie ends.
Very, very affecting.
I thought so.
Yeah.
There's still something weird to me, especially because Charlie was in this movie so little that it's like his new baby and his new family. And it's just like more and more just like getting his ex-wife and son like out of the picture.
Yeah, it's just really weird.
It's very strange. Like he's closer to Lucy, his ex-wife's daughter, not even his daughter,
Yeah,
in
right.
this film than he is to like his own son. It's just a little interesting.
Yeah, it is just strange. Yeah, the Santa Claus trilogy, just I cannot believe that these movies
Happened.
are real, that they exist.
Right.
Just wow.
Tim Allen
They don't make them like they used to.
Tim Allen isn't as good as Santa as I remembered him being.
Dude, the memory of these movies were like glory. I was like, oh my god, these are the greatest movies ever.
I know.
I wish we never rewatched.
Me too. Because now I'm like, oh, they're not very good.
It's okay though; they're still great.
They're still great, especially the third.
We love the escape clause.
Jack
Frost.
Low key. Escape Clause kind of hits, right? It's just so bonkers. And then I don't know if it's in the movie or it's in the bloopers that they played in the credits. I don't know if you saw that.
I did see the bloopers.
How did you watch these? You don't have Disney Plus. Did you have to pay for them?
Are they on Disney Plus?
Yeah, they're Disney movies.
Yeah, I rented them.
That sucks. We just got rid of Disney Plus, then we do the Disney Plus episode.
Yeah,
That's too bad. I don't know if this is in the movie or in the credits, but there's a part where they're all celebrating and Alan Arkin is like standing next to Mother Nature and he just puts his head on her shoulders and it's like
Oh, what?
exactly.
That's weird.
And then the Easter Bunny goes over to the mom and is like, "I'm built for speed and comfort." And it's like, what?
Dude, the Easter Bunny is scary, bro.
He's scary too.
Definitely not as good as the Easter Bunny from Rise of the Guardians, who's like a badass Australian fucking crazy.
But he doesn't have the sex appeal that this one does.
Don't know about
He's
that.
built for speed and comfort. That must be in the bloopers because I can't believe that would get into the real movie.
There's no way.
And then she's just like, "You're a weirdo," and everybody laughs. I don't know.
Santa Claus trilogy. Holy crap, amazing.
When's the
best,
fourth?
maybe the best, better than Lord of the Rings, honestly.
Definitely better than The Hobbit. Lord of the Rings, Hobbit for sure.
Yeah, okay. That's fair.
There was like, I think, inklings of one point of a possible Santa Claus 4 that would be Charlie taking over.
They should make like a really dark R-rated Santa Claus 4 that starts off with Charlie like brutally murdering his dad to become Santa.
Here's the thing. I don't remember if the card says that Santa has to die. It might have just said if you put on the suit.
So you could just steal the suit.
Maybe. But I'm pretty sure it said like if he was indisposed.
Right, yeah, because he disappeared.
Yeah, so I don't know how that works exactly.
Hopefully Charlie blows his brain out.
Yeah, hopefully. I did hear that the fourth would be he takes the mantle and it would be about Krampus. So that would be the antagonist.
I don't know.
And I hope it would be like the horror movie Krampus that came out. It's like happy Santa Claus movie and then Krampus is just like there like killing and being a monstrous demon. And they're just like, yeah, Krampus.
Good.
That's what I want out of
Good
this.
boy.
I don't know, man. I don't know anymore. We have our reviews of the week to do, don't we?
We do. We do those every single time.
Yeah. In fact, we do. Do you have one today?
Yeah.
Today's no exception?
I'm getting it.
Okay, I have to get mine too for a second, but mine is kind of interesting.
Okay.
I could do mine first, but it's a giveaway. I have two if I need to, but I'd rather just do this one.
Okay, do it.
Gives it away. This movie convinced me that Jared Leto is a bad person in real life.
Gucci.
That is my review of The House of Gucci.
Oh, nice.
I didn't know if that was against the rules or not.
I guess that's fine.
Yeah.
This one could be. I think this one's good. You might have to guess with this one.
Okay.
1.5 stars.
Oh.
Sometimes I just hate myself.
That's it? It'd have to be Santa Claus 2.
Wrong.
What?
It's the Santa Claus 3.
No.
The Escape Clause.
It makes more sense for Santa Claus 2 because there's 2 Santas, and him hating himself would be like hating the other Santa. Bad review.
Don't know what to say about that. That's just how it is.
Should have switched it. Man,
Sometimes I just hate myself.
it is true, isn't it? Like for rewatching these movies, which we shouldn't have done.
Yeah, that was tough.
Guys, yeah, if you're out there and you're like, oh no, they're crazy. The Santa Claus, they were all good. God.
I promise.
Do not rewatch them. Keep the memory alive, okay? Please.
Please do. Did you know, though, that you can email us at thestaglerpod@gmail.com. That's a thing you can do. You can email us about whatever you want. Literally.
You could email us something like, hey guys, so Santa is a big part of Western culture. However, he is almost completely removed from any religious imagery. I mean, obviously, this is just capitalism trying to max profits from his image, but that makes me curious. Do other cultures have movies based on Santa? Not Krampus, but a Santa figure that does some sort of gift giving. I'm thinking Yeshmayek from Ed, Ed, and Eddie. I think I remember that because that was what Ralph was doing, I think, maybe for a bit.
Okay.
Isn't there, in The Office, doesn't Dwight talk about Belschnickel?
I'm not sure.
And he talks are you pleasant or cromulent? Are you just Googling other Santas?
Yeah.
I know that in France it's Père Noël, Father Christmas. He's skinny and he has an evil twin brother who will fight you if you're bad. He wears all gray. He's funny.
This is not helping.
Yeah, Google's not being very helpful. Other cultures' movies, though, based on Santa. I don't know. That's kind of... Because first you have the other one. What are you finding?
I don't even know.
Père
Just
Noël right
the
there.
names of
It seems like Santa sort of is a universal thing at this point.
Jack Skellington.
That's not... Nope. That's not
It's
it.
on the list. Says 10 best film versions of Santa Claus. Ranked Jack Skellington is number 7.
Yeah, but that's the same. That's the same culture. He's asking about other cultures. You know.
Oh yeah, right. Sorry, I just got lost right there.
I'm sure there's a French Père Noël film that has his evil twin brother. I mean, isn't that kind of what Santa Claus 2 is? To an extent?
I guess, yeah, basically.
So maybe they were just being culturally, that they couldn't be because of how they portray it. So never mind. I take that back.
Right.
So yeah. I don't know. That's a good question.
That is a good question. I'm not sure.
I have to assume yes. So my answer is not any popular ones.
Yeah, right, because nobody knows.
But how popular could a Christmas movie get across, especially a cultural one?
Yeah.
I guess the closest even thing to that would be Over the Moon would be the closest to getting that done.
Yeah.
That wasn't Christmas, though. That was just the Moon
Festival
with all them, Chunga and the other guy.
Ho Yi.
Ho Yi. Hey, sorry, I haven't played Smite for 8,000 hours. I don't know
Ho
these
Yi and
characters.
Changa are destined to be
know.
together, but they can't.
Because it's not Christmas. Right? That's the thing?
Why. Yep, you're right. That's why.
Okay. That wraps up the show, right?
Guys, we wrapped it up.
Just like a
What the
gift,
freak?
we wrap it up.
We wrapped it up.
Yep. Guys,
What?
sincerely, guys, folks,
People.
gentlemen, gentleladies, lords and ladies, theys and gays,
Thems.
I hope that you have a Merry Christmas.
Have a Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
I hope your rest of your holidays are pretty good. I have a good time. We won't be back for a little bit.
Not until next year.
Yep.
We're taking a few weeks off for Christmas.
But guys, this year we do have a plan already. I think last year we didn't know. This year we do know.
Yeah, the frick we did.
When we come back,
Big episode.
episode 45, we'll come back with an episode on the Wachowskis.
Yes, because obviously the brand new Matrix Resurrections film is coming out on Christmas, so
Mm-hmm.
you got time throughout Christmas. See the brand new Matrix movie.
See the
come
rest
back.
of the movies if you want.
Yep, we'll do the Wachowskis. Literally, they have like they have the 4 Matrix movies, like Cloud Atlas,
Speed Racer, Jupiter Ascending.
Mr. Jupiter, and then like their first movie ever, which I forget what it was called.
Bound.
Like, Bound.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. There's only
That's like it.
8
So it'll
movies.
be easy. I mean, their movies are like 3 hours long, a few of them,
But you know what? Worth it.
We're probably going to end up splitting that into the rest of the movies. Break. Okay, Matrix time.
Yeah,
And just
definitely.
do all Matrix.
Definitely.
Because of course one of the major things. You know what? I'll save it. If you want to learn one of the major things, you better tune in next year.
Next year.
That's right. Okay, guys.
Until then, though, stay frosty.
And
Be chill.
be chill and
Freeze your family members if they're do
Bad.
something that you don't like. You can freeze them.
just cool off. And
Chill.
there's no way you can't.
3rd-degree burns are the most painful.